Welcome into a Friday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, live here from the UDL, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, right on time, 7:05 a.m. Chill out here on a Friday.
Fashionably late, always.
Yes.
Move it a little slow, dude.
We're going to take a little spin to the show today. We want your spin. We're going to open up the phone lines for you.
Spin zone.
225-229-7741. 225-229-7741. Can we publish that on screen, Lloyd?
I can.
229-7741. Your most positive outlook for this weekend. What do you see the most positive way for LSU this weekend? Is there a positive story at all that you see for LSU? It is Friday of LSU Bama. It doesn't even feel like this game is on the schedule tomorrow at 6 o'clock. We will talk a little bit about it and get the feel for the weekend. Ben Mintz is supposed to stop by at some point before we get out of here at 9 a.m. this morning. There's a little bit to talk about. Not a lot moving on this.
If there's no spin for this weekend, spin the season. Give me something positive. Give me a positive spin.
You come here thinking that we're just going to take a dump on the LSU football program and Ed Ogeron
No,
and
it's your turn to shit.
On the crew.
Shit.
We don't want anything to have. We don't want anything to do with it. It's all yours.
We love LSU.
You tell us where it is, what the outlook is for you. If you got a name for us to watch out for, it does seem like Jimbo's name keeps on being brought up. I don't know why. Is it the smoke screen or is it the real name?
No, I hope it's a smoke screen. I mean, look, Jimbo's good. I just don't.
I don't understand the Jimbo fatigue.
We've been there. You want him.
I just think if it was a different person if it was a different name on the same resume, people would be thrilled.
I disagree.
Because you get to take out A&M, which he seems to be building a little bit of a power over there. So you swipe out A&M.
What has he done there?
What has LSU done the last 2 years that you wouldn't want him to do at LSU in the last 2 years?
He's been there for longer than 2 years.
I know, but okay, so a 5-year plan that's obviously been more successful than Ed O's 5-year plan. Would you want the last 5 years of A&M or the last 5 years of LSU?
We have a national championship.
Well, that's the 2019 argument.
Right.
Is 2019 worth all the mess?
Right.
That's really the argument.
Had a 10-win season before the 19 season?
Yeah, well.
I'm just saying.
Jimbo did it with Kellen Mond.
Kellen Mond's in the NFL right now.
And look who else is in the NFL, Joe Burrow.
Yeah, okay. I don't get the argument. I don't get the point.
Joe Burrow won 10 games and then won a national championship. Right. And look how LSU's looked without him.
No doubt, I get that.
And look at what Jimbo's been able to do with far
saying,
less superior quarterback play.
But he's also hasn't set the world on fire over there either.
Nobody set the world on fire because Nick Saban won't let you.
I think that Jimbo sees a greater opportunity to win. I think that people look and view the LSU job with a greater chance to win and beat Alabama more consistently.
I agree.
I think when you look at the resources, when you look at the recruiting grounds, when you look at the players that you're able to bring into the program, LSU is probably a top 4 job in the country. When you just say it out loud and you talk about the resources. Now, there's a lot of minefields that you got to jump through, and there's a lot of politics and red tape that you got to maze your way through. But if you can figure it out, a lot of people believe that, this is probably one of the best jobs in the country. The Jimbo situation, for me, first off, from Jimbo's point of view, it doesn't make any sense to me. Because Jimbo knows what he's doing in College Station will get him lit up in Baton Rouge. You know what I mean? Like some of those losses where you don't look right, you don't have now in the first couple of years, there's going to be a grace period for the LSU head coach because the roster is in shambles.
Right.
I mean, the roster is just dilapidated. I mean, it is beat down. I mean, you look and hear Mason Smith's been on crutches all week.
That was a kind of a shock.
That was just like a wow.
Let me sneeze this on the back door.
How bad can it really be, man? How bad can it get? But I think that the coaching community looks at LSU and looks at Ed Ogeron and Les Miles and says out loud, those two guys won a national championship there. We're so much smarter and more competent than they are. If we take that job, we can win at a consistent level. We can win. We can at least be in the championship discussion every other year, right? Like I think that Billy Napier, from some of the people that we have talked to that is close to Napier believes that LSU is a national championship contender every other year. Like you should be in the college football playoff with LSU. Even if they're not the SEC champ, they're an Alabama-type model where they're too good to leave out. They've got too many good players. They've got too much success that you can't overlook. I don't know how many schools like that exist in the country, right? I think Alabama's obviously one.
Yeah.
Georgia kind of feels like they're growing into one. LSU's brand feels like it was one for a while and can be brought back real quick. And I think with the right guy, Scott Woodward understands that Woodward obviously has some type of affinity for Jimbo Fisher. Obviously, they worked together here early on in the Baton Rouge days and LSU's days when Saban put together that dream coaching staff back in 2000 that Jimbo was on, and Woodward was here working in government relations.
What a staff that was.
It's unbelievable.
Wow.
Not only that, but the staff that he has, I think it was 2015 maybe, all of the current coaches that are in the college football playoff top 4 all worked under Nick Saban in the same year.
Yeah, it's. That staff photo is just almost embarrassing. I mean, how good that coaching staff was. I love Charles Baglio sitting at the end of it too. Coach Bags from Independence, baby. But it is just when you look at Jimbo, like I said, from his standpoint, in my opinion, it doesn't make sense because of what he has going on at A&M. He's got so much grace and he's got so much money now that he can pick up the phone, call, and get anything he wants at any point. Like, he's got Texas-type artillery behind him as far as financial backing goes. And it also means that in a day in NIL and recruiting, where Texas A&M is a real true player as far as to be able to pick up the phone and tell somebody, look, we can pay you $100,000 a semester if you just wear our hat after the game when you leave the facility. So I don't think it makes that much sense from Jimbo's standpoint why he would leave Texas A&M to come to LSU after he has got the national championship in Florida State. He's now got the contract that's pretty much a lifetime contract for him at College Station. He's making all the money. He's got all the say-so. He's at a place where, look, I agree with you. He's constructing what looks like a college football power, not necessarily a but somebody that you're gonna have to deal with every single year. You're gonna have to. You can't overlook Texas A&M anymore. But he knows that if he comes to LSU and he has the season like he did this year, where you're expected to win, and you lose a game early in the season that knocks you out, that's just it's hard to understand. The LSU faithful aren't going to be as forgiving as Texas A&M fans are, and he knows that. He knows that deep down. And from my standpoint, I don't understand why he would sign up for that, knowing that, somebody like Napier, Aranda, Tucker, they'd walk to Baton Rouge for this job. You know what I mean? You could say, hey, look, set sail for Baton Rouge. If you get there and you make it, it's your gig.
First one here.
Yeah, it's your gig. I mean, they would all show up.
Yeah.
My question is it because of the flirtation with Jimbo previous to coming to LSU and him actually never getting to the ball? Is that why he wouldn't have as long of a grace period? Is because you already have a little Jimbo fatigue before he even gets here? So if he loses one early, he doesn't have the same amount of rope as if you brought in a Napier or a Mel Tucker or, pick a coach.
Well, I don't.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't think that people can hold Jimbo hostage for what happened to him at LSU. That was Joe Oliva handling that, and Joe Oliva has shown and given us more data to prove that he was really he was unfit for the job. He was he was incompetent, and really he got circles ran around him in instances like that where people were wondering, isn't this your gig? You know what I mean? Like, that should have been his gig to say, hey, look, I don't care what the politics are on this thing. Right. I'm hiring Jimbo Fisher. I'm the athletics director. If that's a problem, fire me. You know what I mean? Like, really and truly, that would have been the play to say, no, absolutely. I'm not keeping Les Miles here. He's running around with students at the football center, and he can't win football games. We're firing him tonight, and I'm hiring Jimbo Fisher. In fact, the contract has already been signed by Fisher and his representation, so it's over.
Yeah.
Or fire me.
Go find a new athletic director.
Right. And you can keep your coach if you want.
Yeah. I mean, but that is I think people understand that Oliva, was really the issue.
Yeah.
During that time. It wasn't really Jimbo Fisher.
It just seems like it's tied together.
Yeah, but I think if there is, Jimbo probably would have a shorter leash, like leeway with the fans, but I think that's because of the name recognition anyway. Like, I think because Jimbo has that, he's that quote unquote name splash name that everybody's looking for, and I think that would make his leash short. Like, hey, you're here, like it needs to happen now, as opposed to the other guys where it's like, hey, we want it to happen, but we get it. Like
it'd be a building, a building process. But LSU is not a building block.
I don't think that either. No coach is going to come into this job and treat it as a building block. Like they're not going to go into this job thinking, oh yeah, we have
Jersey Day. Let's
Jersey
go.
Day. Jersey Day. Love
You want to
Jersey
show it
Day.
off for the crew?
Show it off.
bro?
Show it off.
Show it off
Show
for
it
the
off.
crew.
Show it off.
Bam,
Look, get
pop
the
that
Jersey
thing.
Day.
Yeah.
It's right there.
We got a basketball anywhere?
Yeah, right there. Boom. Shoot that thing.
Yeah, give me a walk off. Oh, sorry, I got your rebound.
Ooh.
What?
Let's go.
Harper's
Let's go.
250 for the
Let's
kid.
go.
For the
Have a great
kid.
day, bro.
Oh, he's got the shades.
Love you, bro.
Sneaky
Yeah.
shade grab.
He's swagged out, boys.
He is Italian.
Yes, he is.
But yes, I think any coach that gets there is not going to have the expectation of, oh yeah, I have some time. No, they want it now. They know that now. I just think Jimbo's going to have
Less of a grace period.
Yeah.
Well, and I would think that's why you'd want to hire him, is because he's been in the belly of not only this beast, but built it up at Florida State, Texas A&M, and he's already been at LSU and knows how to do it and worked with Scott Woodward. So it seems like if you would have all of those qualifications for somebody that wasn't named Jimbo, it would be the first name on the board.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know whether or not to believe that Jimbo is the smokescreen or Jimbo is real.
No
Only
buyout
because
is
of Scott
wild.
Woodward in
Yes.
this situation is
Right.
because Woodward has obviously worked with him in the past. He's obviously got a relationship with him. The no buyout is
Smoking
just
gun. It's a smoking
real,
bazooka.
just like kind of like supporting evidence to the fact of like, hey, did you guys talk about this at one point? I mean, did y'all lay this out like? I could be back at LSU in the next 5 years and be looking for a head coach over there. And you want to just leave this thing with no buyout?
Yeah.
I mean, I can pay you $10 million a year almost.
And nobody will notice it until that time comes, and it's going to be too late. The crazy thing is that when he renegotiated his contract, A&M kept the no buyout in there.
I know.
Like that could have been a massive
Well,
sticking point.
I think that's Sexton behind the snes working with Woodward saying, should we keep the no buyout in? Like, absolutely. Keep the no buyout
What do we
in
do
there.
if they say something?
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
Who cares?
Who cares?
You know what I mean? They're going to pay you.
It's a non-starter.
I will say this about Jimbo. If we do get Jimbo, he's going to be there for the
Yeah, well, you
life
got
of
him
his-
for the rest
forever.
of it. Yeah.
for the rest of his career. He's not going to go to the NFL. He's not using it as like, hey, I want to progress. That's his final destination.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
agree.
you worry about with Lincoln Riley and maybe a Lane
Right,
Kiffin.
right, with the little younger guys.
Yeah, I think Lincoln has. If this was the time that he would move to the NFL, this would be the moment. I would believe, right? I mean,
Raiders go back and get him.
maybe.
Go get Lane.
I mean,
Go back and get him. They already had him.
but both of them, Lincoln
Yeah.
Riley and Lane Kiffin. I mean, if this was the moment, if you wanted to make the jump, I mean, it doesn't seem like there would be a better time. I mean, that Miami Dolphins job is going to open up. If Lane Kiffin is a serious candidate for that, I would expect him to take that job. Lincoln Riley has been discussed as the Dallas Cowboys coach. I mean, I don't know how you turn down that job if your trade is coaching football.
And that's
You know
gotta
what I
be,
mean?
that's gonna have to be in Woodward's head too. Like, hey, I don't want to hire this guy and have a replay of the Nick Saban incident where he's there for 4 or 5 years. We have
Right.
some success and he bolts off to NFL. Like, that's got to be a little bit in his
Absolutely.
mind.
And his
thinking-
decision-making
Yeah.
process.
Well, I think
absolutely.
he only wants to make this hire once for the
Yep.
next 8 to 10 years. You don't want to have to make this hire
At least,
twice, whether
right.
it is because it is so successful of a hire that the guy jumps to the next level, or that it flames out. You got to make this hire again. If you've got to make this hire twice in the next 5 years, that's a failure.
Yeah.
I mean, even not so much so if you've got so much success that the guys get plucked away, but I think you're definitely looking at the long-term viability of the next candidate.
You want it to be sustainable. And I think that if it's not Jimbo, that's probably the route he goes. Because look at who else he's brought in. Kim Mulkey withstanding, you have to bring her in because she's a legend. Like, you're lucky to be able to have her on LSU women's basketball. But Jay Johnson's a younger guy. Will Wade's already young. And then if you bring in another young coach, he gets to kind of plant these seeds and watch his empire grow and grow with the Jay Johnson, grow with the new football coach to where he's built two preeminent powers to where he knows they're not going to go anywhere because they've only had success at LSU, and I'm their guy. I brought him in here. I get to give him another 5-year deal, and they won't blink and look anywhere else because look at what we've built at LSU. So I think he kind of wants to cultivate LSU from the ground up again if he goes younger and say, look, I picked these guys, I'm riding with them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just he has the opportunity to hire all of the major outside of Will Wade, but Will Wade was he inherited an unbelievable basketball coach. But
Time to extend him.
Yeah, right.
Really?
Right. Now he does that. Now he has his fingerprints on every single major sport at LSU when he's been the AD.
Johnson Spillers Dentistry. Remember, they're skilled dentists over there in Gonzales and in Baton Rouge. Couple of locations. Online at johnsonspillers.com. For new patients and existing patients, you can get in touch with them and make your appointment online. Look, they handle everything from general dentistry to pediatric dentistry. You can get over there and get some Botox if you're into that, but they handle everything from your dentist needs. Online at johnsonspillers.com. They're on Facebook. They're on Instagram, so you can hit them on social media to keep up what they've got going on. They've got 2 locations. This is Dr. Chad Spillers and Dr. James Johnson. 2 locations, one in Baton Rouge on Perkins Road in between Segan and Bluebonnet, then out in Gonzales on Pepera Avenue. Everything's online at johnsonspillers.com. Online, for the crew that he's documenting, and then of course flipping the script after the 2019 national championship run for LSU. Feldman inks the book there that was centered around LSU's run with Burrow, Brady, Ogeron, and the crew. Yesterday he put out a write-up over at The Athletic, and he was talking about this LSU coaching search, and he was talking about Scott Woodward. And the first leadoff that he has in speaking of this is that the coaching search begins with Jimbo Fisher. And this is, again, Fisher's name starting to pop up. I mean, odds are, if you're listening to this show, you've asked your buddies, somebody that you think is around LSU, who are you hearing? Who's the names? Who's going to be the coach? And a lot of people, that are considered and again, we've always got to preface these comments in this segment with, if anybody tells you that they know, they're lying to you.
That's what makes me think
they don't know.
That's what makes me think it's a smokescreen, because
I
now
agree.
he's getting a lot of heat, and yeah, there may be some legitimate interest, but I don't know if it's as high. I think that may be his way of saying, hey, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of get him as the guy, and then sweep in there and pick somebody else.
And Jimbo would do that for him, wouldn't he? He would be like, you can say my name however much you want. That's
Jimbo
how much of friends
For
they are.
$100 million guaranteed, he better.
Yeah, thank you for
You
what
know
you
what
got
I mean?
me. Yeah.
I mean, like, hey, Jimbo, how's the ranches
Yeah.
working out for you over there? Great, Scotty. Why? Look, I need you to help me out on a little smoke screen here. When you're asked about the LSU job, dance around it, make it look like you're interested. And, like, just your name's going to be floating on this thing, but let the people over there know to cough up more cash, and you're staying. And you're welcome again.
That would be a hell of a lie if that's what it was, because he slipped into LSU talk, Jimbo, at that presser. He didn't mean to go there, and he did. It still holds a little place in his heart. Still gets him hard.
He did. He did.
I mean,
man.
look, that's okay if it does. It just doesn't mean that he's gonna be getting the job.
He's a name.
It is going to be interesting to see how this thing shakes out, man.
He does have one.
He does have a name.
But look, the recruiting aspect that we talked about yesterday, with some of the commitments coming out and talking about how solid they are. LSU's got 14 commits to this class right now, and the majority of them came out throughout the later part of this week and said that they were solid to LSU, which means that at least you'll have some type of foundation and base put in to this group when you get the job here and can take over and get on the trail. Because look, man, December 13th, the early signing period is coming very, very fast. I mean, it is starting to roll downhill on LSU. You're just outside a month of this date. In fact, if you saw Quincy Wiggins' latest social media post, he said, he's looking forward to December 13th. He's looking forward to that early signing period where he can ink this letter of intent, get it over and done with and behind him, and move on to whatever college campus he's going to, for the second semester of his senior season. So,
do you think we get him?
right now, I do not.
I'm with you.
But I think that whoever can get in here, obviously can slam the gas pedal down to the floor and show him what he means to stay home. Now, Saban has done what I've been told around Quincy Wiggins, some people that I really trust around Wiggins, some incredible work on Quincy. Has seen the door fly open locally here from LSU, and Saban has just sprinted through it to Quincy Wiggins. I would be surprised if they're able to overcome Alabama, but I do know how much staying home means to him and his mom.
Especially with the little...
that's what Saban does best, is that he takes that worry away from you.
Yeah.
He makes that leaving Baton
Alabama
Rouge
feel like home.
He makes leaving Baton Rouge not that big of a deal.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where these kids 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, Quincy Wiggins couldn't have imagined leaving his mom for the next 3 to 5 years. He couldn't have imagined it. But now, I don't think it's not an issue. You know what I mean? Saban has created this bridge from Baton Rouge to Tuscaloosa, and now he lives in a world where he can legally set her up.
Yep.
Where she's got a house in Tuscaloosa.
Yep.
Like, he can legally get a booster to rent her an apartment in downtown Tuscaloosa, and him set up an Uber for her every Saturday morning, get her to and from the game, and it's as if she's sitting in Baton Rouge.
It makes it easy. Easy can be.
And if you're on the Alabama train, doesn't this kind of smoke around Florida with Dan Mullen maybe on the way out kind of make it a little bit easier? Because that seemed to be the other school that Quincy was flirting with. It's LSU, Florida, Alabama, and maybe a little Texas. Yeah, and now with everything going around Florida, I'm sure Alabama is, playing that side up. LSU doesn't know who they're going to hire. Nick Saban's going to be here for what he said the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, it makes it very easy if you want stability, and that's probably the easiest thing to sell to a mother.
I always thought it was between LSU and Alabama. I mean, the other schools, yeah, but I just thought it was.
That's what it always seems to come
and
down to.
Always, because think about it, the local, like being home, like you were talking about, staying home. Alabama's only 5 hours.
Yeah,
it's not far from here.
You can hop on the jet.
And again, you're selling now where you were selling. Back in the day, I can get you a charger under the table. Now you're saying I can get you a private jet chartered over for legally. You know what I mean? We can just get a couple of boosters that, pony up, and you can be here.
$100 each. You could be back in Baton Rouge in a night.
You can be here. I mean, a G5's whisper quiet. You can sleep the whole way home.
Whisper quiet events.
So it's just it's a different day and age, in recruiting. Now, if they get the right guy, if they get the guy that can come in and say, "Hey, look, Quincy, last 8 months." Wash it, bud. That's not who LSU is. It's not who we're going to be. This is who we are going to identify as, and this is how you fit in. We want you to stay, just throw the gas pedal down on him and see what happens. I still think that it's not a closed door. I do think that it's right now it would be shocking if he was to flip. Or I say flip because he's not committed, but that he would change his tone. From what I've been told, from people that are close to this situation, Alabama has just really kind of gone out and tried to boat race this thing and made it, not even close on signing day.
Who do you think the best recruiter is available?
The best recruiter?
As a head coach to come in, and who would you pick as the best? Is it Napier?
I don't know.
I think Napier locally would be somebody that you have to pay attention to just because of the relationships that he has. I mean, if you talk to high school I've talked to some of the most dominant high school coaches in the area and then in the state about Napier over the past couple of weeks, and nobody says anything bad about Napier as far as just his professionalism, the way that he handles himself, the way that he recruits, the way that he goes through the process. They say that he is as close to Saban as there is out there just because of his attention to detail, really, and that's probably where he gets that from. I mean, I went back and I listened to that interview that he had last week, which, if you've missed it, go back and check it out. It's brought to you by RMB Builders. All of our stuff is podcasted and brought back by RMB Builders. They can help you out with a custom design house, but Billy Napier was here last week, and he was talking about who he emulates his program after, and he said about 70 to 75% of what they do is the blueprint from Alabama. I'd imagine that within that 70%, that recruiting is the bulk of that.
Yeah.
You know, like as far as recruiting goes, it sounds like Napier is as dialed into that part of the program as any head coach out there. You know, he explained it. There's 6 phases of recruiting that they go through that they've got to check boxes on. And the ties that he has. I mean, Jeff Jones at Madison Prep, all those Madison Prep coaches. I mean, Billy Napier's tight with those guys. You know, I mean, he knows them. He's got relationships with them. He hasn't been recruiting Quincy just because he's not, you know, Quincy's not looking at UL.
Right.
But if he's the head coach at LSU, he's definitely firm enough to walk in there, look Quincy in the eye and say, hey, man, I've been seeing you for the last 3 years. I've been dreaming about coaching you, and now I'm at a school that can legitimately get you
to the next level.
You know, we want to make you the centerpiece of our defense in 2 years. You're going to be, you know, you're becoming a media day with us.
You and Mason Smith?
Good Lord.
Yeah,
could you imagine
BTO
1 year of Jaqueline Roy, Mason Smith, and Quincy Wiggins, the last 3 most dominant defensive linemen in Louisiana? When you talk about 3 years ago, Jaqueline Roy at U-High, Mason Smith 2 years ago at Terrebonne, and now here is Quincy Wiggins. And you could look up, and all 3 of them are wearing purple and gold on the same defensive line next year.
That's going to be like the years with Glenn Dorsey and those guys. That's like that when we had those guys. That's when they had those types of defensive lines.
And that's what
all from Louisiana.
And isn't that what makes the LSU jump so attractive? You say that it's kind of in a place of despair just because of the recent opt-outs and everything. But if you can get some of these guys that haven't necessarily,
back in it.
They haven't necessarily left the program. They're out for this year.
It.
You get all those cats back, dude. You're right back in it.
You're right back in it. I think that you look at the lines of scrimmage, you look at the offensive line with major concern, but somebody can come in here with a plan that says you got to dive into the transfer portal, into the deep end. Like you got to go find the 3 best prospects, offensive linemen in the transfer portal, and you got to hit on 2 of them.
Yep.
It'd be ideal if you could hit on 3 of them.
And you grab one from the school you're at and bring him with you.
You got to bring somebody with you, and if he's Jacob Berry, that'd be awesome. You know what I mean?
Speaking of offensive linemen, so I saw a stat. I know people probably get tired of us pushing Napier. I'm vocal in saying that I like him the most. That's what I want as our guy.
They won last night.
They won last night.
Sketchy game.
Yeah, it was, but they won.
They
got to win those.
They have 2 tackles that are both the top 2 and rated in the PFF, whatever. I don't know. Obviously, take what you want, but they're the 2 top run blocking tackles in the league right now.
Yeah,
they got
2 tackles at UL are like they're rated like 90s, and like it's. I mean that's development. And
both of those guys would start for LSU tomorrow in Tuscaloosa.
And
both could leave.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean
that game got squirrely late. He had to go for it on 4th and 6. They're down 10-0. He goes for it, and all the announcers for the UL game, I think it was UL Georgia State,
Georgia Southern,
and they were down 10-0. It's 4th and 6. Napier's probably on in the red zone, like 20-ish yard line, and of course the announcers are like, "Well, you got to kick it here. You got to get some points on the board." He'd already gone for it twice inside their own, like inside the red zone, and missed both.
I love that.
And they're like, "Oh, you got to absolutely." So he goes for it again, scores a touchdown on 4th and 6. Next play. UL either forces a 3 and out or forces a turnover, get the ball back, score again, and he's like, "That's why you go for it. Scared money don't make money." It totally changed the team's attitude once they got that, and it kind of put the game away.
When it puts confidence in your guys.
Yeah.
Yes,
it does.
But that's just a thing to watch. Where you say about Lane goes for it a bunch, people get nervous about tendencies, and they love to overevaluate coaches. If Billy Napier gets this job, he's going to be doing the exact same thing. You're going to be going for it on 4th and 6s. You're going to be going for it whenever you think, maybe I'll kick a field goal. He wants touchdowns.
People need to start realizing, like,
the game is changing.
It started in baseball with the analytics, and now it's into football. Like, they use numbers to make their decisions now. And the numbers say you should go for it on 4th down more times than not.
Well, in today's college football world, field goals being shit.
Right. It doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything with the way that points are being scored. I mean, look at Lane Kiffin and the way that he handled that Alabama game a couple of weeks back. It looked like the wrong calls, but, I mean, what are you going to do with field goals against that offense?
Yeah.
What do you want to get beat? You want to get beat 42-9 or you're going to get beat 42-24?
Yeah,
right.
There's certain times you kick the field goal, right? But more times than and honestly, yards as a defense, yards don't matter either. The only defense that matters are the inside the 20s, either them backed up or in the red zone. That's what matters. If you can get short field, that helps your offense. If you can keep them out of the end zone, that helps your offense. That helps your team. If they can get from the 20 to the 20, but they can't get in the end zone, Who cares?
The Dave Aranda method.
Yeah.
Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by Go Chevrolet. I see you out there. Thank you for starting your day with us. Hit that like button, hit that dislike button, comment, share if you don't mind. Interact with us. We appreciate that very much. If you have not subscribed to the Jordy Culotta Show channel, whether it's on YouTube or been over to the Facebook site, jordyculotta.show.com, we appreciate you doing that. But please hit that like button before you get out of here at 9 a.m. this morning. We're going to talk to Ben Mintz at some point and get his picks. We're also going to talk to Ron Hunter, who is the head basketball coach over at Tulane. He's in his third season down there. He'll stop by in the 8 o'clock hour. Nathan Velasquez will be here as we'll talk a little bit about Hollywood.
Did we get everybody at 8:30?
Yep. No, we got Hunter at 8:30. We've moved Velasquez back, and I'm still waiting on Mincy to wake up.
Hand in the cookie jar.
Really?
Might be in the might be stuck in the mousetrap.
That's right. And we are daily brought to you by Cajun Ready Mix. Remember, online at CajunRMC.com. Get in touch with Cajun Ready Mix. They can help you out today. They got 9 plants around the greater Baton Rouge area. Cajun Ready Mix is ready to talk to you today. 9 plants around the greater Baton Rouge area, which means that all of your concrete will be delivered on time and to the exact specifications. High-quality products, grade A equipment, and clear safety standards. All of that online at CajunRMC.com. CajunRMC.com. Get in touch with Cajun Ready Mix. Easy phone number, 225-372-5060. 372-5060. As you can get in touch with Cajun today. Here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Said we're going to open up the phone lines. If you got a call and have a spin zone for LSU, if you got something positive to look out for this weekend, I just can't get behind anything.
Only positive though. Let's not go negative town over here. Okay?
It is. It's a good Friday. It's going to be hopefully it'll be from a weather standpoint a beautiful Friday. It does not feel like LSU Bama week. It has not felt like Bama week all throughout these days in covering this game. Hopefully, I don't see any opportunity for LSU to keep this thing close. You really just want to get through the next month.
I want to get to the first quarter of it being close. That's my goal.
That's positive. That's
positive. There you go. 14. I want to get to the first.
I mean, that's almost how granular you got to break this thing down. You just
almost quarter by quarter.
Just went play by play. You know what I mean?
Honestly, that's how it probably should be anyway. But hey, just keep it within a one-score game after the first quarter, and then I think I'd be okay with that.
I mean, if Mason Smith can't go, what are they gonna do?
I don't think they have enough bodies.
They definitely don't have enough bodies that can play with these guys.
What was the rule last year with COVID? If you didn't have more than 50-something guys on a roster, you couldn't play. We don't have COVID issues, but we don't know if we're gonna have 50+ guys.
I mean, how many are they gonna dress out? I mean, they dressed 53, 54 out 2 weeks ago,
and we get one back. We get some back and lose.
I've heard Baskerville's coming back. Armani Goodwin's coming back. Chasen Hines is coming back. Cam Wire's coming back. Yeah, but then we
lose Mason Smith. We lose Sage Ryan, Cordell Flott.
Like you're playing. You're playing
Robin Peter and Payne Paul.
Yeah, you're playing checkers against yourself. Like, oh, take this to take this.
Okay, we're getting our offense back, but now we're losing all of our defense.
That is the only thing I would say if LSU I don't want to say a chance, but to do something that would seem to be a little positive going into the, I guess next week, is maybe the offense can still put up a couple of points, because Alabama's defense, while it was very good early on in the year, it's kind of faltered a little bit. You've seen them be able to, you saw Florida put up some points and LSU beat Florida. Like, you can play this mind game with yourself to where you can see LSU do some good things against Alabama.
I love what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
See? He's putting the positives. I like what you're doing.
You know, these young wide receivers have to be thinking, look, man, this is a great opportunity for me to put some really good film out.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean,
offensive lineman, same way. Hey, I'm back. I'm healthy. Let me show that I'm good.
Quarterback steady.
Yeah.
Just keep the quarterback upright.
Quarterback
is going to be okay.
Add another running back.
Armani Goodwin, welcome back. Here's 30 carries.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, man. I mean,
maybe Pete's figured out how to send guys in motion.
What about the dump truck Ogeron ran over Peets and Robinson? I mean, and his coordinators this week, Durante Jones
and Jake Peets. He did.
I mean,
too predictable, guys.
It just went in on Peets and Jones. If you go back and listen to that, I mean, he's kind of like shrugs his shoulder. He was ready for that. It almost felt like a planted question.
He's finally figured it out.
Like, to the point of, somebody give me a soft toss so I can light these cats up.
So I can say it hasn't been my fault. I've been telling him it's not supposed to look like this the whole time, but they won't listen.
You're hired, though.
Right. I mean,
But I think that's the narrative he's trying to push out there. It's like, look, I didn't even bring these guys in. I didn't want that to look like this. I had a way different vision for what LSU football should be. And say, oh, okay, now you say it 6 weeks in.
yes. It was crazy to hear that.
When did they stop putting him in front of the microphone? Does he have to?
No, you keep it.
Yeah, well,
At
no,
this point, you
he's
got to keep it out there.
Well, he's contractually obligated.
Right,
He's
but you could've-
contractually obligated by the SEC and by LSU. I mean, if you look at the terms of his contract, that is, I mean, media rights pays him almost $750,000, $800,000 of what he does every year. I mean, he's obligated to be there after the game. He's obligated to be there every Monday. He's obligated to be every there Tuesday morning at the SEC teleconference. He's obligated to do the Thursday at the end of the week media. He's got to do something before the game since it's on national TV with the ESPN crew. I mean, all that stuff. I mean, like LSU would have to go to them and be like, you know, like, we're going to breach the contract with ESPN. We're sorry, but you can't talk to our head coach. And they're saying, well, they're going to be a fine. And they're saying, well, here's the check.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, I don't like at this point. Why? What's the point of doing that? Like, he's already made his bed. Let it just keep going. Like, let him keep going, because now it's entertaining. Because I want to know what he's gonna say.
That is true, but I just brought that up because Lincoln Riley got away with it. Whenever the Caleb Williams, Spencer Rattler thing happened, he was like, "I'm closing down media availability not only to my team but to me."
But that
like,
was
y'all
one
are talking,
day.
yeah.
That was one day.
But I'm saying there's precedent to where he could just stop doing the Thursday.
I mean, like, that was a
show
Monday,
Yeah.
too. You know what I mean? Like, he can't not show up for his radio show.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, LSU Sports has sold advertising around the Ed Ogeron show, and if he didn't show up, I mean, they'd have to call.
How funny would it be if Scott just started doing all the interviews?
That would be great.
should.
That would be
He
great.
just said, hey, pregame interviews.
Somebody
at ESPN,
is
Scott
somebody behind
Willard.
closed doors is. You can tell somebody's doing work with the way that the news is coming out from the recruits. You know what I mean?
no
Like,
doubt.
somebody is working
behind the scenes for sure.
Somebody is
thing.
working. Yes, just like
I told you, the recruiting is going to be. The recruiting is the least of my worries. That's my. I mean, there's worry there. There's a bunch of worries. I'm not
Right.
saying I'm not worried about it, but in order of worries, I just know that the guys that we have there that probably are still going to be here, they're going to keep the recruiting pretty good.
you're selling playing time.
Yep.
You know, I mean, like, you're selling the gold of what players are looking for. You have in spades, but you know, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, Mason Thomas. Mason Smith. That kills you if he can't go Saturday, as Ogeron reported yesterday that he's been on crutches all week. So if there's
Nobody's
anything,
seen that before. How does that news? It seems like
Maybe
well, I mean, it's probably closed practices. Nobody saw that he wasn't there, and
didn't
then,
go to class.
you know, I mean, he's
I
probably
mean,
not.
Tiger droppings would be hammered.
He's probably not.
going to class.
I mean, he's not being seen.
He's
I would understand that if
He's
it
getting
was.
tutored.
But thank you, Coach O, for letting us
Yeah,
know.
good to know.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, I guarantee you, like, the Bill O'Brien and his offensive staff are saying, oh, you know, I mean, we've been worried about Zero all week.
Double team him all
Their
week.
I
best
mean,
player.
we haven't been worried. You know, we haven't been worried about a lot for LSU, but it looks like Zero's questionable because the head coach just told us so.
Or maybe it's a smokescreen. He will be playing. Maybe
No, he
Coach
doesn't
O's
have
learning
that.
a thing or two.
He doesn't have the card up his sleeve. There's no way. He didn't have that move. Come on.
He's not alone.
Not
Maybe-
now. He's not going to pull it off now, November 5th.
All right, we will be back here. We're going to set up Mincy. We'll see the time Mincy's going to be here, and we will talk about some of the picks this weekend, some of the NFL games. Atlanta is in town playing New Orleans on Sunday. They'll be without Calvin Ridley. Saints going to be without Mike Thomas. So the two dominant wide receivers in that game will be missing. But the Saints riding high.
Taysom Hill,
after
full participant in
after a week,
practice.
yes, Taysom Hill back. So
Odell
we'll talk a little
Beckham
bit
floating
about
around
that.
out
Ooh,
there.
he's about
Looks
to
like
be
he's going to get
released.
waived today.
He's about to get
Look,
released.
they're trying to set him up to waive him for
And
sure.
if they release and nobody picks him up, they have to pay his salary. So
Yeah.
that
So
is
that's what I was.
But before we go to break, we talk about how awesome the culture inside the clubhouse of the Saints is. I wonder, is it gonna affect that if we get him?
It would definitely affect that because he's too big of a personality.
Or-
But could it be a positive
For him.
effect?
Yep.
Because here's what I would bid on: is Sean Payton
Positive spin Friday, baby.
on a guy like this. Payton, to me, probably deep down loves a guy like Odell.
Watch what I can do.
Like the player that he
Yeah.
is and what he
The
can
intensity.
do for his offense. And if you can channel that intensity and that aggression in the right direction, then you're going to get, for all intents and purposes, we haven't seen Odell Beckham for the last 3 years.
Right.
I mean, I haven't seen Odell. The last time I saw Odell Beckham Jr. be Odell Beckham Jr. was his third game in Cleveland when they played on Monday Night Football, and he took a slant 90 yards,
Yep.
which there's only probably about 6 or 7 people on the planet that can run 90 yards on an NFL football field and not get caught. And Odell was at that point in his career 3 years ago where it was against the New York Jets. It was on Monday night. He caught a slant on like the 11 or 12-yard line, split the safeties, and was gone.
And 2 of those 6 are from LSU.
Yeah, no doubt.
Odell and Jamar.
Jamar can do that.
Did it.
Yeah, he's done it. And since then, I haven't seen – I mean, how many 100-yard games does he have in Cleveland?
I think 2.
Really? I mean, how many times has he – I remember a Dallas game last year where they were like running him on reverses and he threw a touchdown pass and he caught a touchdown pass and he was like returning punts, and that was something that, kind of looked a little Odell retro. But you haven't seen Odell getting that stride, getting that swagger, catch the ball, make plays in 3 years. And if somebody can bring him in, to me, he's still got it.
Oh, no doubt.
He still has that in his game. But you got to channel him, man. You got to manage him.
If you can do that, if you can sit him down and say, "Hey, Odell, this is what's going on. You may not average 7 targets a game, but we have a legit defense. We have an opportunity to make a run, and you have an opportunity to change our receiving court. And all you have to do is be a good teammate and go out and use your athleticism, and we're gonna get the best out of you that we can get out, and just be a good teammate. And maybe he's back home. Maybe he figured maybe it helps.
And Aaron Rodgers is going to be here this summer.
And we're going to go get Aaron Rodgers next year, and we're going to go win 3 Super Bowls in the next 6 years. We're going to be a dynasty.
Remember, daily, our spice is Papa Earl Spice, 30% less sodium than the competition. Pick them up anywhere you pick up locally your spices. Rouse's, High Neighbors, Calandro, True Blue Water, TRUBluewater.com. If you're looking for our coffee, Majestic Coffee is locally brewed, DeliciousSips.com. Down here in South Louisiana, and our phone guest via the phone line this morning, Metropolitan Health Group, Real Doctors, Real Solutions, Charlie Harvey, Jason Ramazan, the entire crew at Metropolitan Health Group. Get in touch with them over there at Metropolitan Health Group. Shout out to Ramo and Charlie Harvey. Thank you for always supporting us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We'll be back and set up more of the college football weekend, the NFL weekend. We'll have Mintz in with his picks here. We'll also talk to Coach Hunter from Tulane basketball in the second hour.
And
Don't go anywhere.
Talk to everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. The phone lines are open.
What's that number again?
225-229-7741. 225-229-7741. Call us and spin how LSU is going to compete in Tuscaloosa tomorrow. And who's your guy? Who's the coach?
Positive Spin Friday.
Coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU bluewater.com. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Spinning on this Friday, Positive Spin Friday, here on this
Spin
closing
rates
out
up.
the week of the Jordy Culotta Show.
Working title.
Yes, it's a work in progress. But we were looking for some positive news. It feels like every time we've talked about this LSU football program, this LSU Bama game, it's tough to find any light to shed on this LSU side. If you've got something, you see the phone line there on the screen, 229-7741. It's a 225 area code. Get involved here on the Jordy Culotta Show. You can also hit us inside of the bunker over on YouTube. Make sure you like, share, comment on what's going on here. Hit that Facebook like and share as well if you're there. JordyCulottaShow.com. Pick up the latest gear. Jordy.itemorder.com as you can pick up a hoodie. Any of your Jordy Culotta Show.
I've had
Jordy
a few
Culotta
requests for hoodies, so
Okay, really?
yeah. Hey, I need to get me a hoodie. I said okay, and they said they love the chair.
Really?
I told you, bro.
The chair is polarizing.
They say they love the chair.
the chair
Ben's
is
trying to
polarizing.
get rid of it.
Little feedback.
My
wife said, "Do not get rid of the chair. People love the chair."
Darius Days rocking the Jordy Culotta shirt,
that.
show hoodie on campus yesterday.
Spelt.
Yes, he does.
Lot of helium. A lot of helium coming with the Jordy Culotta show. Love it.
Remember, you can hit us online at Culotta Show is where you find us on social media. We're brought to you by City Cafe. If you're looking for a place to eat today, stop in at City Cafe, citycafebr.net. Waiting on Mincy to get back with us as he is slow to start the day here on this Friday.
What's a ponder? What's that?
So
look
I
for?
just got a question for you. So I heard Dansby Swanson.
For me?
Yes,
Okay.
it's baseball related. Dansby Swanson was on McAfee yesterday, and they asked him, so in the locker room, they used to go to, tell me if this is true also, in Fenway, there's an ice cream machine. Is this true? He said that they have an ice cream machine.
In Fenway?
Yeah, and in the dugout. Like, not the dugout, but the clubhouse. And they said they all go to Fenway, not because of the Green Monster, because there's an ice cream machine there.
So, yeah, there is an ice cream machine. My ice cream machine, my favorite ice cream machine is in Seattle.
Wow.
Soft serve, bro. You can eat, like,
Soft serve.
It goes down nice. Like, you be careful. You look up, you have a night game, you get there at 1 o'clock. You look up and you're like, damn, I'm 6 soft serves.
And we got a belly full of ice cream.
That's not good. Like, it's
long singles. It's a long singles day.
You got the chocolate and you got the vanilla and you got the swirl. You had all 3 of them.
Sprinkles?
No sprinkles.
I didn't know how much they were sending. But anyway, so he said that they would always look forward to going to Boston for the ice cream machine.
Yep.
And then
That's
they all
true.
looked at, they were like, Freddie Freeman, obviously the best player on the team, like the guy that's been there the longest. They're like, Freddie, you got to talk to somebody and see if we can get an ice cream machine in Atlanta. And he's like, this will turn us around, dude. This is what we need to get the team together. And right after they got the ice cream machine, they go on this run.
Wow.
And then so they all, like, Freddie.
They feel good. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
Positive
it.
Spin Friday.
There
They
you
got
go.
an ice cream machine in the Atlanta Braves clubhouse.
I tell you what,
That is
though.
baseball.
But I was wondering if that makes it like
Yes, that is great, and it's something to look like, because when it gets repetitive, dude. You go to the field all day, every day, and it's like, yeah, the games are great, but it's like you have this
so much
whole
downtime.
lead up, and there's so much downtime. It's like, man, what are we gonna do? And you have something like, oh, I can't wait to, and you like take a few days off eating ice cream. I can't wait for this soft serve ice cream. And honestly, being on a visiting clubhouse, like the visiting clubhouse in Boston sucks. Like, it's so small and so old that like they need something in that visiting clubhouse, and it's the ice cream.
That's unbelievable to me. Like, it just takes one thing to get the guys going. Like, oh, dude, we got a night. Like, when that thing shows up, I'm sure they're like, oh, let's go.
I mean,
Freddie pulled it off.
We're guys. No matter how old we are and how old we get, the little stuff makes a
no
huge
doubt about
difference
it,
to us.
man.
Like, just that little like ice cream. Like, we're acting like we're 6 years old, but ice cream makes a big difference.
It's
Yeah,
I mean, it's still a kid's game.
Yep,
I mean,
absolutely.
it just shows you at the end of the day. I mean,
Yep.
what can rally grown men for a championship
Oh, yeah.
run goes back to a soft serve ice cream.
Or
Station.
August comes and you get a football and you go out and throw the football. Like, you'll have 7 guys and they'll start running routes and like everybody wants to be out part of the throwing the football.
I played
Like, you're a
quarterback in
little
high school.
kid.
No, I played quarterback in
Yeah,
high school.
exactly.
LSU baseball is going to play 20 innings tomorrow versus UNO.
grind.
You ever done anything like that? And what do you take away from something like that?
So I've never played a full 20 inning game. I'll tell you what I did do my freshman year here. Before I was like playing, and I was still. There she is.
Yeah,
Carpool
yeah, yeah,
queen.
yeah. Oh, dressed to the nines.
Wow.
Yes.
No.
Whoa.
Wow.
Board meeting this morning.
Yeah.
What kind of meeting are we having?
Whoa.
Carpool board meeting.
Comes bearing gifts.
Yes. With a spin, with a positive spin.
So what was I saying?
Starstruck.
Yes. We were talking about, what were we talking about?
Play a 20 inning game.
Oh,
yeah, 20 inning games.
I've never played a 20 inning, but when I was a freshman, and this is the fall, and it's kind of chilly like this. But no, actually, it was a spring, and this is before we were all playing. We had Coach Maneri made the starting 9, who was going to be the starting 9, hit for 9 straight innings.
What?
God.
So the guys who weren't playing, we had to sit out there for 9 straight innings,
Play
up,
defense?
bottom, and top. And every now and then he would bring somebody else to get some at bats.
That's
Bro, this is too much, Paul. I mean, like, yeah, seriously.
Because it was like right before the season was about to start. And so he wanted to give we had a couple games get rained out, and he wanted to get the hitters more at bats. The guys that were going to be starting. And I was rotting in right field. I'm like, this is miserable. But I've never played a full 20. I've never played 20 innings. That's 2 games in 2 innings.
That sounds like a Jay Johnson request.
Oh yeah.
For Blake Dean and UNO. So they'll be here tomorrow. It's actually open to the public. It is a college football Saturday. But like Matuk said, it's 20 innings. Odds are if you show up anytime between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m., they'll be playing baseball tomorrow.
And
It's
not gonna be for those out there like, oh my God, baseball takes so long. It's not gonna be like that. Like, there's gonna be rolled innings. There's gonna be pitch counts in an inning. There's gonna be, okay, this guy's out. That play should have been made. Let's go. Like, they're gonna move it quicker than a normal game would be, but still 20 innings is 20 innings.
Then why don't we just play 9 innings if we're going to do it that way?
Well, I think it's really
It's more
just
for the
it's
pitchers.
more of a glorified scrimmage
Yeah.
of you know, I mean, it's more game action for these guys. The more you read about it, it does make sense. But it would be fun to pass by the box tomorrow for at least 30 minutes to an hour just to see the Hunt Palmers of the world who could give a damn
Keep a book.
about LSU Bama. And all they hear what's going on is a fall scrimmage at the box.
The dings of the bat.
And we'll be there from the first pitch until the last pitch and just
Eat it up.
eating everything about
Keep
it.
a
dude.
book, ball
live,
strikes.
live tweeting 20 innings.
When did you realize how psychopathic LSU baseball fans were? Because I believe that the LSU baseball fan is a different fan than the LSU fan base.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like there is an outlying fan
It's like a
base
cult.
within the LSU fan base. Like it's almost like the baseball lifers look at like football fans as like beneath them.
They do.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know
like-
what I mean? Like go get your Saturday nights, you losers.
I'll tell
And
you
they
what.
take everything super personally.
Oh
Yeah,
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 like
yeah.
they're
Everything is
part of
personal.
like they
are
feel like
part
they're
of it.
in the clubhouse with us.
Yeah.
When I realized like, man, and I grew up obviously watching, but like I was a fan. Like I wasn't the diehard. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't like the psycho fan, but I
Yeah.
was a huge fan. When I realized,
Sound like a lie.
maybe a little psycho. Whenever I realized like, man, these fans are different was when we had like these coaches committee meetings and we had all these like scrimmages, and these people would come to these scrimmages in 45-degree weather with super like
the Hunt Palmers, right?
winds,
Yeah.
and they would talk to us and they knew everything about every player on the team. And like this is baseball where guys like you don't know some of these relievers that are here that
From
they
Flower
knew
Mound, Texas.
everything about everybody. I'm like, man, y'all are invested in this.
Different.
Yes.
It's different.
This is great. And you had guys, you had the candy guy, he was throwing us candies
Yeah.
and Skittles, and then
Yeah.
you had
the Birdman.
the Birdman, you had the K lady.
Yeah.
Oh, you had
Oh, Leather Lungs.
Giot out there
Chris
screaming "Go
Giot.
Tigers!" Like
Is Chris
Yeah.
Chris Giott is not the Birdman. Chris Giott is the
He's the go tiger. He's the guy-
go-
Yeah, Leather Lungs.
And he's the ball for when the other team is on ball 3 and he just sits there and
Yeah.
he just goes.
What's on out?
then you got I'll tell you what.
Ricola.
There is
The
nothing.
whole- I mean, I leave the box almost like laying in bed.
You
thinking,
know when you get like a song stuck in your head?
ball.
When you get a song stuck in your head and you can't get out, that's what I think. That's what you feel like when you're like, I can't go to sleep because I just hear this guy in my ear.
It's like the baby
Unbelievable.
whistler.
Is there anything worse than the whistler
No.
from Vanderbilt?
No.
No.
Nothing.
That's in my head all the time.
Ban that person from
Really?
ban
him?
Ban him.
What happens
Don't-
when he dies? Does someone pick up
No.
the whistle?
Hopefully
The
he's
whistle
not. Hopefully he's
retires.
not got his kid with him sitting right next
what
to
I
him,
was
like
thinking.
teaching him the
A
way.
legion of whistlers.
How like
Miserable are you?
the long capacity and the commitment
The
to
commitment.
the whistle, dude.
The commitment.
Holy crap.
The
you-
commitment is next level commitment.
Wow.
It is.
Which one who do you think's working harder, Giot or the Whistler? Because
The Whistler.
Giot
The
is
Whistler.
putting out Go
Yeah, but
Tigers in the
Gi-
third
I
inning.
tell you
Yeah,
what,
but
though,
he doesn't- he doesn't-
Giot's got chin sweat. By
Oh,
the
he
third,
does.
like,
He's
like
working
he
out
is
there.
work. Like I mean, it's all meeting in the middle and like just kind of like pouring down. He is
Yeah,
working.
but he picks his moments. Like, you know,
Absolutely.
This whistler,
Yeah, the whistler's
relentless,
always-
dude.
And Giot's doing it for the team, but the ball
yeah.
the Whistler's all about himself.
He is.
There's no way the
He
guys at
is. I
Vanderbilt like
agree.
the whistler.
No
Yeah.
way.
No way the home team players like. There's
No
no,
way.
way. No way.
Not at that rate.
I don't
No.
know.
You know what I mean? Like
They
there's
gotta
certain
like him.
parts in the game
No.
where you can bust
think
the
they
whistle
like him?
out.
Yes.
But I mean, all
they like
the
the whistle?
They
time.
whistle back. You know, he has an answer. He calls and there's an answer.
Hey, what are you talking to
I
birds?
mean,
It is like that.
but the whistle, like the whistle is so annoying.
It is.
It
It
is.
is.
But don't you think about
Maybe
it
it's a
all
home
the
field
time?
advantage.
Like
It
all
is.
baseball season?
I had a-
Always I
you hear it
birds
on
doing
TV.
it.
My
Yes.
childhood good friend, best friend, Bo Fourier. His dad was he was a sheriff, and
Oh,
he
Bo
is. I
Fourier.
mean, he was a ass kicker. You know what I mean? Like
Fighting the monkey.
6'4", rolled his mustache. You know what I mean?
God.
And he kind of like
Flat
sit
brim
there,
fingers.
smoke cigarettes, and drink this like 64-ounce.
Polar pop.
Guzzler, you know what I mean, all day.
gulps.
Big gulps, huh?
Yes,
Big
like
gulps, huh?
huge gulps, huh? You know what I mean? And he had this bottle rocket whistle that would like he could just hit it like, and it sounded like a bottle rocket taking off. And he would shoot it when the opposing team was shoot, and he would hit it when an opposing kid, like 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, was in like shooting a free throw.
In the
You know what I
gym.
mean? It'd be like you like push the ball like almost like out of the screen. I mean, it was because it would like make you jump.
I wish
You
I
know
could
what I
whistle
mean?
like that.
Me too.
I can't.
No,
And he could hit it
have a very
on
subtle
demand.
Whistle, yeah.
And that's how he would wake you up in the
I
morning.
thought you were about to drop one in there.
No, I can't
I
do
know,
it with
were
my
you about
fingers.
to
I can whistle.
Wait, does the Vandy guy do his fingers?
I don't think he does.
I don't know what he does.
I don't think he does.
I've never even seen. I don't even know what the whistler looks like.
Bo's
just hear him.
dad does not. Like he can hit it with
Really?
just a
Oh,
can't.
dude,
You
that's the
like,
look too.
this whistle
How
where
do
you
you do that?
you do something with your tongue into your lip and you get right here
looks
and
like
it
the-
goes.
I can whistle like without using my like,
You can do that.
but I
kind
can't
of
do.
whistle?
That's about
You
it.
can't- you can't
I
screech
can't
it.
get the
Yeah, the
projection.
pitch.
I can only whistle sucking in. I can't whistle blowing.
Hey,
Hey, Katie.
Friday vibes, only positive here on the Jordy Culotta show.
I suck
It's
into
like
whistle
when
too.
I'm
Yes,
halfway through the
yes.
sentence, I'm like, shit.
We all understand.
But there's nothing more
It
intimidating
sounded better in
than
the head than it did out.
It didn't
yeah,
seem normal in my
It
head.
is.
There you go.
right. Yourself.
In a
I'm
room
just
full of
stacking them on
boys.
top. Just stack them on top of each other.
Another
Fucking
room,
couch
that
right here. It's
would
like the casting couch.
That's what it's named on here.
There is no
You
job.
understand?
Daily, we're brought to you by A-Bears. A-Bears specialty meats. Get the beef.
Get the
A-Bears. Online at abearsmeats.com. Remember, Highway 73 in Dutchtown. Freezer full of goodies out there, man. If you're looking for something this weekend to cook up, if you're tailgating tonight for a high school football game, saw where Catholic High beat up on Dutchtown last night, but if you're heading out to a football field tonight and you're looking to tailgate, stop in at A-Bears out there on Dutchtown's Highway 73. They've got great selections of deboned stuffed chickens, of ground patties, steaks, all that you can cook and eat on this weekend over at A-Bears. And we've been reminding you, it's going to be here in a couple of weeks. It looks like the week of Thanksgiving. A-Bears is going to be opening up inside of the
Just in time for the turducken.
that's right, of the Robert's grocery store over there on Highland Road inside the Kenilworth Shopping Center, right next to Superior Bar and Grill, over at Robert's grocery store. About 630 a square foot of space of A-Bears.
I thought you were going to say it was meat.
Meat.
Over at yeah, about 630 square feet.
Suck it in.
That's right. Whistling away into work.
Oh man,
There it is.
positive
A-Bears
vibe
meats,
Friday,
baby.
man.
A-Bears Meats. abearsmeats.com.
Can you deep fry a turducken?
Sure.
I'm sure you can
Deep
fry. I think you can fry
fry anything.
anything,
I
right?
guess, yeah, I guess you
This
can.
is-
I almost
South.
got. I went to the fair last night. I almost got a deep fried Oreo.
did?
Did not get
Bro,
one.
so you went to the state fair.
I went to it.
God, I love the
I think
fair,
the
but
last
that
time I
is
went to the
tough.
state fair, I was in grade school.
I can't tell you last time I went, but we jumped the gun there. I kind of got bullied into the first ride. It was like the pendulum. Then you go upside down.
And you're
I'm
not
like-
a ride guy.
I'm not a huge ride guy, but like Allie wanted to do it.
So you're not a huge ride guy. So what's your cutoff? Like a Ferris wheel? I mean, are you spinning on anything?
No,
Like, I mean,
so
like
if,
because
if I'm really spinning
like the
this,
teacup thing.
No, I can't.
Totally
do that. No,
freaks me
I'm
out.
off that.
Totally
If I-
freaks me out.
Teacup.
Where you're just
Those
sitting
are
in
for
a
that-
teacup.
yeah, those
Yeah, I don't care, bro. But
If
you
I'm
can't.
gonna
You're in
get
no
dizzy
control.
and throw up, I'm off. But this one,
Yep.
I was like, oh, it's not coming down too hard. Like, I'll be all right. Well, I didn't anticipate the upside down part up top, and like,
You kind
man,
of pause up there.
oh, and he held us there for like a little extra second, and I'm like, oh, and then me and my father-in-law are sitting together in the front one.
What an awkward way to be sitting with your father-in-law.
We are
upside down in a Ferris wheel. How did we get here?
me and Andy are sitting next to
Are you a
each
whistler?
other, tight can be. And I'm screaming,
You sucker
holy
blood."
shit, holy shit, holy shit. He's just laughing at me. I'm like, get me out of this thing.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with the ride.
Then we did a straight drop.
Oh, the bladder
I
pusher.
got through it though. I got through it though. Kept everything down. We're
That's-
good. Then
What'd you eat?
there was a pig race. I actually was good. I didn't eat anything.
That's
Really?
it, dude. You
No
can eat out
bad
there.
food?
I didn't do anything. I was scared about what was going to happen after the fact.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Absolutely.
probably safe. That's probably a
Me
safe
too.
play.
But there's a pig race. Pigs. It was cool.
Teacup
You
pigs
bet?
or big pigs?
No betting.
No betting.
No betting. But it was cool.
That's when you do a little side
They had-
hustle.
they had
Yeah,
a
get some
Oreo.
dollars going on over
Yeah,
here.
stay fair. It was fun. We had a
Good looking
time.
piece of pork there on the end.
Very, very, very cold.
Prime beef.
40 on the guy on the end.
Yeah.
Is that Mikey Montauk over there?
Betting on pigs.
Fucking looks green.
Taking money from everybody. Hey, what do you want?
Like it's a
Montauk's betting on the
cockfight.
pigs. Looks like he's nauseous. He just did the teacup with his father-in-law.
He couldn't handle the teacup ride.
Hey, positive vibes. Jordy Culotta show, as we said, brought to you
Wow, love
daily
the
by Go
Kingfish
Chevrolet.
shirt.
That is a
Look at
classic.
that shirt.
That is a classic.
Cute.
More of an ice skater
Yeah, we
guy.
do miss him.
More of an
Ice
skater
skaters. Wow, the ice
Yeah.
skaters. The ice skaters and the Kingfish. Was that it was like late 90s?
Oh, yeah.
Late 90s?
My uncle had the T-shirt contract, so I was always at the games. I got the ice. I was on doing half the ice on the ice thing.
After meeting Uncle Ronnie yesterday, I believe it. I believe it. Talk about kiss the ring.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, we went to Lafayette yesterday. Shout out to LaFonda's.
Oh, yeah.
No margaritas.
We had to get back.
That's right. Everybody kept their clothes on.
God.
For God's sakes. But it was great to get down to the city of Lafayette, and we were eating with the Don.
Y'all ate at LaFonda then?
Yes,
Oh,
Ronnie
good
Matuk.
job.
We were there for about an hour and a half. He was holding court.
Oh, yeah, tell stories.
Former mayor of Lafayette was there.
Yep.
Frankie Harris,
Love
big insurance
Frankie
guy,
Harris. I love
who
Frankie
Katie
Harris.
knows.
I
Oh, you
I went
do.
skiing
Cody
with
knows
him.
from the
Yeah,
insurance
years
world.
ago.
Family
And everybody that walked past the table. Hey Ronnie, I owe you. Hey Ronnie, I got you. Hey Ronnie, I need you. Hey Ronnie, I got you. Hey Ronnie, just just call me later. Call me later. Kiss the ring. Yeah, kiss the ring.
You know
kiss
what
the
you're
ring.
doing is this head is here and you're just getting it growing. It's getting
Yes, that's why we need to talk about that space in the corner there, Ron.
That's it.
But it was awesome, man. It was being down in Lafayette with Mikey first. I mean, it feels like you're walking around with royalty. Then to walk around with his uncle and his crew was pretty fun. But to get down there and see that the show is very well represented and listened to.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Down in Lafayette, as we got a couple of people that came up and said they were listening to the show and that Mikey's been a great addition. But it was cool to be down there and see the family as the Matuks run.
As an Italian.
Yes, that was yes. I felt like we could have gone 100 on the way out. Go ahead and write us a ticket. We're gonna send it to Ron again, chump.
You know who I just left? You know
Never mind.
You know
Never
who I
mind. I'll
just
tear
left
it
lunch
up.
with?
I'll
Yeah.
tear it up.
Oh, you mean Ronnie Montague? Okay, no, we're out.
Forget it.
Actually, can you call him for me?
Yeah. He had a great story about. Forget it. I won't tell it on there. All right. So, Mintz, I've not heard back from Mintz. We're going to talk to the Tulane head basketball coach, Ron Hunter, coming up here in a couple of minutes.
Ben Mintz? Is he ghosting us again?
Well,
he didn't
you know
ghost
what?
us yesterday.
Yeah,
He just
ghosted
He was
a
packing
little-
up, and you know what? Barstool for the first time this is what Barstool is. They're a polarizing entity, and we all love Barstool, and their content is fantastic. In fact, a lot of what we're doing here is kind of following the model of what they do. But for the first time, they're in a little bit of hot water. Dave Portnoy is in a little bit of hot water from at least he's having to answer some questions publicly about some of the things that's happened to him in his personal life. This has happened to him before, and you know, Barstool has come out at least legally on the right side, and it looks as if what Portnoy, gave 10 minutes into a Twitter feed yesterday of kind of giving his side of the story, compared to what came out to, I believe it was in a Business Insider article that was authored yesterday about Dave Portnoy and some of the things that has happened to him personally with some females over the summer. And I don't know if they're kind of trying to keep everybody quiet right now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I
Get all their ducks in a
don't know
row.
if everybody's just
Yeah,
kind of
right. And
like
look,
saying,
it's-
look, before we start public, because these types of platforms, and we wouldn't do it here to Mincy, would try to trap some people.
Yeah, for
You know what I
sure.
mean? Or at least try to get a soundbite. Try to go
Absolutely.
viral.
Right.
Try to see if they can't get a moment from somebody at Barstool. And not that we would do that to Ben, and not that I believe that Ben would even walk into a trap. I think that they're just kind of saying, hey,
Yeah.
you know what?
Yep.
That makes sense.
Let's just all kind of
take it easy.
Let's have the weekend here and get everybody right, and we kind
That's
of
okay.
reconvene and get back to work next week. And I'm not trying to get into anything that's going on up there because I don't know the details of the case. The write up behind on Business Insider is behind a paywall, and I'm not a member and I didn't pay for it, and I just got a summarization
Right.
of what was written there, and then I watched Portnoy's 2 10-minute video clips that he tweeted out yesterday, kind of giving his side of the story. So that's all I know about it. And I'm just speculating that Mintz is not here this morning because of that, but it would make a lot of sense.
And so since Ben Mintz is not coming on, let's blow up the phones and start
Yes.
spinning this
I
positively
said we
on
haven't
Friday.
gotten anybody to call in here.
Yeah,
225.
everybody's scared.
Y'all giving
Are
the
they?
number out?
Are they?
229-7741, right?
Yeah, but no one's called.
What was the code?
One.
One,
Yeah,
one,
but
one,
why-
one, one.
but-
Oh.
No, to unlock it.
Oh,
because last time no one could
okay.
take- Did you give the
No,
code
I didn't
out?
get. I didn't give the
did,
code
yeah.
out.
It's 1111.
But I almost did because I didn't know if it was like an extension. You know what I mean?
This is,
Yeah,
I don't know.
all
If
right.
this is,
Damn, we are big time,
We
bro.
are really big
We
time.
are
I
big
didn't tell
time.
you yet.
I don't know.
Multiple
This is
lines.
because people are nervous to call in. They don't want to talk, or they just don't have any positive spins. That's not good.
People called last time we did this.
So then
Yeah.
they must not have any
They
positive
did,
spins.
but I think it is probably tough to find positivity going into
It
this
is.
game tomorrow, just because of like the
4
lack of
touchdowns?
personnel. We need
That's
4
what they're-
touchdowns.
no,
Jay,
it's for
Jay Peck and I
Alabama's
need
ahead.
4
Oh,
touchdowns
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
they're favored
We're
by
going to
4
collect on
touchdowns.
that Jay Peck tomorrow night, if so, and I think that we should document the whole thing on the way up to the window. I
Stack
mean,
the cash.
just Giants on Monday night. Told you so.
Told me so.
Saturday we got Alabama.
The Braves on, but I couldn't do that.
That's right. Matuk was so funny trying to place this bet, bro. He was a nervous.
I wanted
wreck
to do. I can't bet.
going up
I
to the
can't bet on
window,
baseball.
and he
Yeah,
ends
Pete
up
Rose.
deciding that he wants to bet on baseball. And on his way home, he slams on the brakes, calls everybody at LeBerge, shuts down the production, tells everybody nobody go out with their media. I could get banned from baseball for life. I can't make a bet on baseball.
So I changed it.
After he was like just sweating over Liberty and Ole Miss tomorrow, which the Liberty play looks great. Ole Miss is their injury update
It
looks
doesn't
like
matter
LSU,
now because
looks
I
like
lost the
LSU.
first one.
Yeah, right.
You can always go back.
But I did change it. I changed it. So if anybody's listening,
No baseball bets
I
are out
did
there.
not bet on
I did not
baseball.
bet on baseball,
I've
and I
heard that
will
before.
never bet on baseball.
Heard that that exact
Yeah,
line
right.
before.
Hopefully this Jordy Culotta show viral. This clip goes viral.
Yeah,
my
no,
took, you know,
We're gonna delete this off.
you see this one and then go straight to the LeBerge cameras at the sports book of that sure does look like him. So we were going to talk. We'll talk to Coach Hunter coming up here. You want something positive? Basketball season starts in less than a week.
Boom. There we go.
Boot up. The boys, Will Wade and the crew, are going to be so fun to watch
Got a phone call.
this year.
We got
We
a
got
phone
a
call?
phone call.
I mean, I missed it, but I'm gonna call it.
Thank
back.
you, Lloyd.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Got one job.
One job.
Jesus,
One job.
Lloyd.
Keep it positive.
Call back, or we'll call you back.
Yeah, we'll call you back.
Who's screening these calls?
I think. I guess me.
Ooh, and I got a good text message.
Alex says the call screener is too strict.
Our food is on our.
I don't think
way.
that's true.
We've ordered a
Wait,
little bit
what?
of
Y'all ordered
DoorDash
food?
here.
What
Yeah.
Play for the squad. We have the whole squad.
No mentions.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. That
No.
one for free, Brad.
Shoot.
We'll bill you for the next
I'm
one.
a rookie still. I'm sorry. Just find me.
What were we talking about?
Food.
The phone call? Are you calling back?
I'm calling it back.
Oh,
Yeah, why not?
Oh, I didn't answer. Cold
You're
feet.
freaking out.
Cold feet.
Holy shit, they're calling me back.
What is this number? I don't know.
Hello, you are live here on the Jordan.
Yeah. I hope it's Lloyd. That guy's an idiot. Dominate him in the conversation.
Remember Relief Med, RELEAF Med, reliefmed.com. Get in touch with them over there. This is legalized medical marijuana in the state of Louisiana. This has gone live. You qualify. Find out if you do qualify today by logging on to Relief Med. The steps are pretty simple. Once you complete the confidential online registration form there at Relief Med, you'll talk to a board-certified doctor via the phone line or video, get approval for your recommendation that's sent to the pharmacy closest to you. You get to the pharmacy, consult with a Louisiana board-certified pharmacist, and get the products that you need. Coming on January 1st, that will be flour up until then. Vape pens, gummies, all that you need to relieve chronic pain, depression, PTSD, and other ailments.
It's got to be
I
something.
qualify then for
All
sure.
of the
PTSD.
qualifying conditions
Would be the best.
or online at reliefmed.com. That is RELEAF med.com.
Could they be a bigger tell if you're trying to call in and get medical marijuana? I have PSTD. Sure you do.
Yeah, absolutely. The pharmacy's on Essen Lane. We'll see you in 20 minutes.
Let me write that up for you.
Right. But it is basketball season, and I cannot wait to watch this basketball team play. I've had a chance to go watch them practice over the last couple of days, and Ace Miller is a huge loss. Don't get it twisted. That Adam Miller is that's a hell of a loss for LSU basketball. Talking about probably about 23 points a night. You know what I mean? Anytime you take 23 points out of any lineup, obviously it's going to be a hit, and they're going to try to fill that not with one player, with a couple of guys. I think that Brandon Murray would be the most obvious and frontline guy to take up some of those points.
He's a bona fide scorer too,
minutes,
though.
yes, and he can fill it up. He's a freshman that they're very excited about. He went to IMG Academy with Efton Reed. Those two really have a good on-the-floor chemistry, man. And Efton is – I watched him practice twice this week, and this week was the first time that I saw Efton really, like, voicing his, like, being like, kind of loud out there. Yeah, I mean, like, he is not a passive player, but sometimes he's a 7-footer that can kind of get lost out there. You know what I mean? He moves well, he bounces well, he stands out because he blocks shots and he intimidates under the rim defensively. But this week was the first time that I saw, like, his intensity pick up.
Love that.
And it was fine,
I think
bro.
he feels it. I feels the season coming on.
You may be right. And almost Adam Miller was that. You know, Adam Miller was kind of a voice type guy. He was a guy that was constantly letting you know that the effort needed to be better, that they needed to pick it up on the defensive end. And not to say that Efton Reed has picked up that entire slack, but he is somebody now that if he plays like that, you can see that it brings the best out of other people. Like when other people look around and they're like, "Oh man, look at Efton. He's going 100 miles an hour. He's going hard. He's worried about it. He's concerned about it." You can tell that people kind of, you know, they tighten up a little bit.
You got a big guy down there that has that energy, but then is throwing shots into the third row and like he's protecting the rim. Like that's a motivator to the rest of the guys on the team.
It is, and he is special.
Yep.
I mean, he is, when he gets out and he's running and he's playing rim to rim and he's blocking shots and he's intimidating on defense and he's catching the ball on the run on the offensive end going towards the rim. I mean, he's going to get so many and one opportunities. He's a fantastic passer of the ball at his size. I mean, he's legitimate 7 feet.
Yeah.
I mean, he is long, lean, and can play, man. The rotations is going to be interesting to watch here early on. Kind of how he gets to his best 5.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he's got probably 9 or 10 guys.
There it is. Look at that. Look at that.
Look at that shot.
Right in there.
Stay there.
I've since changed the camera angle, but it was a nice little cameo.
That is right. Welcome our newest member of our team here, Jordan Peck. That's a
There's the
back of
He
his
was
head.
just talking how badly he wanted a hat.
He is side-eyeing that camera angle. He's disgusted with the view.
We may change some things this
how
weekend.
How about Darius repping us in that hoodie
Loved it.
yesterday?
We were talking
All
about
over
that.
Instagram.
I was telling him earlier, I've been getting requests. Hey, I need a hoodie. Hey,
Speaking
I need a hoodie.
of, our store was down because it was closed out to fulfill orders. It is back up.
All right.
As of last night.
That means we were sold out.
Anybody that wants, it's jordy.itemorder.com. Get your hoodies, and those hoodies that Darius had on might become available on the store for sale soon.
Love that.
Right.
If everybody plays their cards right.
Love that. And I had great reviews of the chair logo. They love the chair.
Logos.
They love the chair.
Those are
It's
going
about your
on.
best
Those are going
efforts.
on shirts soon too.
Ooh.
So be on the
Merch
lookout.
drop.
New logo.
Dick Jones wants to know, Jordy, what do you know or have you heard on the videos with Will Wade? And do you really think that he's totally innocent? Absolutely, Dick. I definitely do.
Who is this dick?
Jordy with an eye.
Identify yourself.
He
Robert.
addressed you, Jordy with an eye.
Look, man, I think that Will Wade is doing the same thing that everybody else in the sport is doing to be competitive. Every top 25 team in the college basketball poll is doing something to make sure that they can end up in that top 25 basketball poll. And they've been doing that now for as long as I've been alive and probably as long as you've been alive, Dick. I mean, do I think he's completely innocent? No, but I don't think that anybody's completely innocent that coaches high-level college basketball at all. You know, I haven't heard anything about the videos, and I can guarantee you if videos existed, they would be sprinting to the front of the line to try and post those on Will Wade because the media that covers Will Wade from a national standpoint and really the sport itself has a hard one to bust him. You know what I mean?
Oh, what a sentence.
Oh, that play on words, bro.
Yeah, really. That's something I would say. Brett.
Yeah, right. Whistling Dixie all the way in. But seriously, there's the line is so long in trying to get Wade that if anybody had anything close to a video out there, much less any type of audio,
Especially if it's incriminating
him, there you would see it so fast and he would be ousted so fast that your head would spin. Meanwhile, while everybody is saying that there are videos that exist and that the NCAA is crawling up the LSU basketball program again in the month of October and November of 2021, Will Wade's still getting 5 stars and they're ranked within the top 25 going into the season. So, you know, I mean, like, I hear everybody, and I've been asked numerous times over the last couple of weeks, is something about to happen in the LSU basketball program? Is something coming down on Will Wade? Is something about to go down? Not that I know of, not that I've heard of, because everything that I read and everything I see is the same thing that I was reading in October of 2018, in March of 2018. And that hit piece that Pat Forty put out 2 days ago, what'd you learn from that? What'd you learn from that? Did you take anything away from that?
He's out of material?
Other than that, he is out of material, and that
they keep creating
that
new
a couple
branches.
of investigators spent 48 hours in Baton Rouge for 2 days?
And there's a new branch.
I guarantee you that if anybody would have learned anything, the complex case unit.
That's it. Complex case unit.
That if anybody would have learned anything in those 48 hours of interviews in those 2 days, it would have been headline news. Somebody would have leaked it. Somebody would have gotten it out to the public that we got Wade by the balls. Finally, the American gangster of the college basketball world is going down.
Love the American gangster.
There's nothing
he's
out
not
there
going down.
to that.
Not going
He's
down.
not going
no,
down.
he's not.
No, we're going to New Orleans for the Final Four.
That's
is
it,
where we're
baby.
going.
We're all there.
Speaking of New Orleans and basketball, Coach Hunter is next here from Tulane. We'll get an outlook on his team. Remember Jalen Cook, the point guard from Walker, who spent a season at LSU. He's transferred over to Tulane. We'll ask Coach Hunter about Cook and some of the newcomers on their roster. They open up Tuesday night versus Southeastern. We will talk to him next here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Hebert's Specialty Meats, home to the finest boudin in South Louisiana. 2 spots right here in Baton Rouge and out in Prairieville. Stop in and see them in the Dutchtown Shopping Center on Highway 73 or right here in Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway. Online, abearsmarkets.com, and they're all over social media. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them on Instagram. Abears combines perfect seasoning with that authentic Cajun flavor. Find out for yourself. Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway and in Prairieville on Highway 73. abearsmarkets.com. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU, bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU, bluewater.com. Welcome into a Friday edition. Welcome back to the Friday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet here on this Friday. Check them out online at GEAUXchevrolet.com. Couple of locations, including one out in Laplace, Louisiana for brand new cars. Over here in Baton Rouge, Used car lot is located on Sherwood Forest and Florida Boulevard. Go
Wait,
Express
where's the new
Auto
one?
Sales.
Tennessee?
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yes. Brand is growing.
They are
Go
growing.
Chevrolet, GEAUXChevrolet.com. Speaking about a growing brand under Ron Hunter, this is his third season for the on the bench for Tulane basketball. Last season, Tulane's coming off their best RPI in over 20 years. They open up their season Tuesday night versus Southeastern. And Coach Hunter is kind enough to start his Friday morning right here with us on the Jordy Culotta Show. Coach, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Doing okay, man. People are looking for a little positive spin right now to their sports world, especially down here in Baton Rouge with the struggles of LSU, and everybody's looking towards basketball season. It's crazy that we're back here. You got to look like the outlook of your squad with the way you guys finished the season last year.
Yeah, I really do. We got a lot of guys coming back, and we've added some good pieces. Of course, Jalen Cook that was at LSU last year, and he's with us. So we feel really good about our basketball team, and we're ready to get going.
You open up on Tuesday night, as we said, and you talked a little bit about Jalen Cook, but you also returned 3 starters, including all-conference guy Jalen Forbes last season. What's the expectation for your group going into the year?
Winning.
That's a good one.
We haven't done a whole lot of that at Tulane, and so that's what we told the guys. We've got the program to the point where we took the job and we had to get better and compete, and I think we've done that, and we proved we belong in the conference and those things. Now we got to turn that into wins, and so that's what we told our guys, and that's what they're expecting to do this year, and we're really excited about it. It's weird. They're still young because everyone got the year back, but it's been kind of crazy since I've gotten here because I listen to what you just said. I've been here 3 years, but I got here with COVID and then the hurricanes. And so I told someone the other day, I've never even gone to a Mardi Gras here. That's how crazy things have been for me here. So it doesn't just feel like I've been here a full year yet because we haven't had a full season since we've been here. But now it's time for us to turn this program around, and we've got the young people to do it.
Damn, Coach, that is crazy to think about. That is wild to think about that you've been there for that long and really haven't experienced just the culture and what it's like. Have you gotten an idea of how good the basketball is in the city?
No. I think about this. I haven't really even been to a basketball game for the most part. When I first got here, you're trying to build the program, then COVID hits and you can't go anywhere. And so it's been really hard to kind of get to the high school games and, even going to Baton Rouge and those things in the entire state. So it has affected, your ability to kind of learn a city. And so everything that I know about New Orleans and the state of Louisiana really is about hearsay because, again, we haven't been able to get out and do things. So I'm looking forward to going to a high school game again and getting out and doing those things this season. So it's not just about, what people think, well, I'm coaching a game. Every aspect of coaching and being able to get out in the state and see our high school people, this is really the first chance I'll get to do that.
Yeah. One of our good friends of the show, John Brady, who we consider the king of New Orleans. Every time we're down there, he's at some new restaurant or he's hanging out with some politician or some big timer. He was talking about that he went to one of your practices and how impressive that practice was. How has your preparation looked in getting ready for the season and just getting your crew ready to go?
Well, I'll tell you a little back end. I played golf with Brady, and I beat him so bad. I said, listen, the only thing you got to do, go on Jordy's show and tell him how good we are. And so that was a bet. He won that. Well, I won the bet. That's why I came and told you.
Hey, man, he was glowing about you.
Mine, man.
Yeah.
He's, and I appreciate him saying that. But we're better. And this is by far the best team I've had here. And I think this is probably by far the best team Tulane's had in a while. But it doesn't mean anything until we play the games. And so that's what I told the guys. This is, right now what we got to go do is that we started so far behind in regards to where everyone else is in our league. I mean, we got a great league with Houston and Cincinnati. And, I mean, this is every night, you're playing. You could be playing a top 20 team. So we've got to get to the point where, where we're one of those teams, and I think we're heading that direction.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about your schedule and your thoughts on it because your league is treacherous. I mean, like you said, every night out, I mean, you're going to be in a fight. But overall, what's your thoughts on your schedule going into the season?
Well, one of the things I've always done this as a head coach is that we're just worried about the next game. Sometimes if you start worrying about, man, you got Houston and we open up with Memphis and you got all these other things going on, it becomes too big. And so you just worry about the next day. And that's, we have a slogan in this program, just win the day. Let's just be really, really good today and tomorrow takes care of itself. So again, and that's been our approach. And if you take it from the whole, it becomes, man, how in the world are we going to get this thing done? So since I've taken over this program, all we want to do is like today, this Friday, man, let's be the best Tulane basketball team we can be on Friday. I mean, let's be the best people. it's hard enough trying to be a great person, 10 years from now. Let's just be a great person today. And that's kind of how we built this whole thing in our program. Let's just be really good today, and everything else will take care of itself.
Jalen Cook was so fun to watch play at Walker High School his senior season, and through up to that point. Up to that point, he was the best basketball player in the state his senior year. But he was also offered by a lot of SEC football schools as far as his athleticism goes. He didn't play a lot in his rookie season with LSU, but he had some really good minutes. What are your expectations for your transfer in?
I think he's a really good player, but more importantly, I think he's a great kid.
Yeah.
And that excites me, man. I mean, he wants to become a great player, and I think he's got a great chance. He's got the right demeanor. Every day I've got to keep our football coach off of him. He's all in class. I got to keep our football coach away from him. But he's just a really talented athlete. But what he is, he's a great person. And when you combine the two of those things, man, and that's the thing sometimes as coaches we forget, is that, you get the great players and they come and they go. But when you get the great player and the great kid, and he's one of ours, he's a Louisiana kid, he's a Baton Rouge kid, man, that only makes it even special. And so I'm really blessed to be able to coach a kid like that. And, man, I can't wait for the state of Louisiana to see how good this kid really is.
How has these scrimmages helped you before the season? I was talking to Coach Wade. They played Baylor last Saturday in Houston, and just about what he took away from that and just seeing his team in competition. What was it like to see your team in competition? I believe you played Loyola or Lamar. I'm sorry.
No, Monroe.
I'm sorry. But what did you take away from that?
Well, again, we were going to actually play a private scrimmage, but we actually opened it up because you got to remember, the kids on my team last year never played in front of a crowd. Damn. They were all freshmen. They were young. And so we got actually a crowd. So they were actually a little nervous, to be honest with you, at the start of the game. And we were, and you take those things for granted that they're used to playing in front of people. But all our young people hadn't played in front of students. They hadn't smelled the popcorn. They hadn't seen all the, the game day pageantry because of last year of COVID. So I'm glad we were able to do that because we kind of got that behind us. And so I think that was the big part of it. You just take those things for granted. That, again, something that has always been there was taken away. And so we had to kind of get reused to how, starting games and kind of making sure that we were even keeled to get ready to go play basketball.
Coach, best of luck in starting your season on Tuesday night versus Southeastern. Thank you for some time here on Friday. I hope we can do this again soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys, and God bless you.
Yes, sir. There he is, Ron Hunter, Tulane head basketball coach, checking in this morning from New Orleans. Third season. Crazy to think about that he hadn't had a chance to really kind of recruit it.
We're like in a time warp, dude. Like, it feels like it just doesn't feel like we had the COVID year. It just doesn't feel like a year.
No, it doesn't.
So shout out to him. That is like crazy to think about, man, that you've been here 3 years and he hadn't even been in a high school game. It's nuts. It's wild to say out loud. Edward Jones brings you the Jordy Culotta Show. Shout out to Daniel Newman. It is basketball season, which means Newman is probably not even sleeping right now. He can help you with the finances as well. Daniel.Newman@edwardjones.com. Get in touch with our friend over there at Edward Jones, Daniel Newman. He's trusted out there in central Louisiana, right across from Stabs. Let him answer any of your financial questions that you may have. If you're looking to invest, if you're looking for help with your 401k, if you're looking for just questions about your Social Security, get in touch with Daniel Newman. Daniel.Newman@edwardjones.com. And we've always told you, and in fact, he got a call a couple of weeks back from somebody in the Houston area that said they heard on the show that Daniel has expertise in the plant field. That he can help you out, whether you work at Exxon, Dow, BASF, any of these big plants, and you're in the listening area, you're listening to the show, get in touch with Daniel. Daniel.Newman@edwardjones.com. Daniel.Newman@edwardjones.com. Let him help you out today. When we come back, we'll talk to Nathan Velasquez. A lot to catch up with on Nathan. We'll get the latest on the Alec Baldwin case. What's going on out in Hollywood with that?
I always look forward to this.
Yeah.
I like that. I
He's
really
great.
do.
He's great. He is great. He's the 5-Minute Critic. If you have not subscribed to Nathan's 5-Minute Critic platform, wherever that may be, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, social media, all over the place, make sure you get him over there. He's with us every Friday here on the Jordy Culotta Show, and we will catch up with him on a ton next here as we're driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485 8022 225 485. 8022 is where you can find Hebert's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU bluewater.com. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Appreciate Coach Ron Hunter for stopping here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Tulane starts up their basketball season on Tuesday night. It is hoop season here as we get ready for it on the Jordy Culotta Show. We'll have you covered. We also talk movies in Hollywood every Friday with our favorite Nathan Velasquez. He is the 5-minute critic. He is reviewing a couple of movies this week, including The French Dispatch, which we will talk about.
Wes Anderson.
Okay. Look at the Wes Anderson drop.
Yeah.
Wow. Big movie guy.
Watch out.
Jumped right in there.
Watch out.
How impressive was that, Nate? Did you text him what we were talking about?
I've got to say, Lloyd, actually, I feel like your mustache is right out of a Wes Anderson
It
movie. You could
is.
for next Halloween, you could probably pull off
Oh
a
my
really
God,
good Wes Anderson
yes.
character.
Here's my question: is it more of a Wes Anderson? Does he look more Wes Anderson character or more MacGruber though?
Okay, MacGruber was great.
Okay.
You pulled that off with flying colors.
Thank
So,
you, sir.
I mean, absolutely, like, you did a good job this Halloween, but maybe consider Wes
I like
Anderson.
it.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Missed you on Halloween,
Put it on the
buddy.
list.
Nathan and I usually celebrate Halloween together on our radio show. We would usually gear up and dress up and do some
There's
pictures.
some all-timers out there.
There is some all-timers, and Nathan
The Breakfast Club was
the
awesome.
Breakfast Club was an all-timer. What did you dress up as this year?
I went as Timmy Turner from The Fairly Odd Parents,
Nice.
and Leanna, my girlfriend, she went as Trixie. We thought it was supposed to be like this incredibly. She was the one that came up with the idea, and I was like, "Oh, that's perfect. It's got the nostalgia play going. It's not like a cutesy costume, but like, yeah, I liked the nostalgia play, and I thought it'd be unique." We're on the subway going to a party. I see two Timmy Turners on like our cart. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I thought this was supposed to be unique, and now I just look like some
so
basic
original,
dude.
Nathan.
But no one at the party had that costume, so
There you go.
I
Thank
still am
God.
counting it as a success.
Is that the biggest worry of going to a Halloween costume?
Yes.
Like Halloween
Yes,
party,
for
somebody
sure.
being your
What
costume.
a total letdown.
Especially
I
if
mean,
you're like original, like you
yeah,
think, damn, this
especially
is
if
gonna
you're
be,
fired up
yeah.
about your costume.
Yeah,
Yep.
Timmy Turner. Then
Well,
you see one.
you see someone else there with your costume, and you just got to go up like dead stare, kind of like, so when did you think of this? I thought of this in August.
Let's put a timeline on this thing.
I'm ahead of you on this, man.
All right, everybody curious about what's going on in the latest with the Alec Baldwin situation. Of course, the case out in New Mexico where they called it a prop gun. No such thing as a prop gun, obviously, but goes off on a set, killing the director and wounding another member of the set. What is the latest on this?
Yeah, the director actually he was critically injured, but he did recover. It killed the cinematographer, Helena Hutchins. And the DA has confirmed that there are going to be criminal charges. They are going to be coming out. We don't know if that's any day now. It could be within the next week, 2 weeks. I would say within the month, there are definitely going to be criminal charges. So everyone's lawyer right now is getting the defense narratives out there, kind of getting the court of public opinion ready to kind of realize, hey, it's a nuanced conversation. Don't look at Alec Baldwin. Don't look at the assistant director, all this stuff. So pretty much you've got the producers, which Alec Baldwin is thrown in the mix with the producers' lawyers, who are pretty much saying it was the workers' fault. And Baldwin said this last week: I was friends with the cinematographer. There would be no way that I would have any knowledge of any of this happening. I thought he gave a pretty good statement. I mean, we'll still see what happens. He kind of misstepped. He put out like a Facebook post saying that it was a safe set. This one costume designer said it was an incredibly safe set, which everyone was kind of like, dude, you might have been friends with her. You might have had no ill will, but it does not sound like this was a safe set at all. Right. So it'll be interesting to see how that defense plays out. In terms of the workers, their lawyers are saying that you cannot say that it was 100% their fault. There is reasonable doubt because they're pretty much going with sabotage play. They're not pointing fingers at anyone exactly, but they're saying, hey, this shooting happened a few days before a massive strike. People, or at least a threatened massive strike, that did not happen. There was a lot of ill will in the air between workers and the higher-ups in Hollywood. So we're not saying exactly there was sabotage, but you can't rule out sabotage. They also are saying they found several live rounds on one of the trucks, which is like, I don't know how the hell that happened, but they're pretty much using that to say, why was that there? We can't say exactly why it was there, but neither can you, which means you can't say for sure it's the workers' fault. So you can tell there's going to be this toxic circle of just pointing fingers at everyone. I think the wild card, though, is that the husband of the cinematographer is filing a wrongful death suit. And when it comes to that, he's definitely going to be pointing at the producers, at the people that are on the Alec Baldwin level, saying, at the end of the day, you are the ones making the money. You're the ones organizing everything. If something goes wrong, leadership, the buck has to stop with them, especially when it's life and death. So I feel like that's everything that's going on here. There's also a lot of people saying they want to now ban weapons from set, which I feel like that's probably not going to go anywhere, but that's kind of part of the conversation as well.
It sounded like you were surprised by it, but somebody was curious inside of the chat, and I'll ask you, how does a live round even make it on a set?
That's what a lot of people are asking. It's not supposed to happen like that. Be pointing at the armor, and it's very confusing right now to see who exactly was the armor, who had the responsibility, because there was a walk-off the day before. But I don't know how the hell a live round gets onto a set. There is no way that is ever supposed to happen, it's so frowned upon that ever happening that it is pointing towards someone might have had some ill will. I don't know how that happens, but it's enough for one to say, hey, we got to at least look at sabotage as an option. That's how unlikely it is to happen. That's how frowned upon it is of that ever happening.
The Sopranos is back in mainstream news because of what the latest series on Netflix. What is that right?
The newest
everybody in this room looked up like he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
The Italian all in on the Sopranos.
But they're back in the news. Tell us about it, Nathan. For God's sakes, get me out of here.
Well, the creator of The Sopranos, David Chase, everyone that knows The Sopranos, I'm not going to spoil anything that happens in The Sopranos. Everyone that liked The Sopranos that was watching knows that the ending caused a bit of an uproar back whenever it came out. It's an infamous ending, kind of gives you an ambiguous note, and he came out recently, the creator, and gave the answer as to what happens. And it just feels like I feel like that type of attitude is kind of wrapped up in the problem that I think a lot of people are having with this Sopranos prequel. The Sopranos is coming back, which is like, can we just leave some of these stories alone? Like, do we need to keep going back and rebuilding on the originals? Like, we kind of see what's happened with Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Ghostbusters. Like, I don't think it's about being obsessed with the past, but it's kind of like, do we need to dilute the originals by introducing these new stories all the time? Like, do these people not have enough money? Like, let's make new stories.
It's
Let's
lazy.
do new things. But The
It is
Sopranos, I
lazy.
feel like you would have to be insane to not have The Sopranos in at least your top 5 TV shows.
Never
I feel
seen
like when
it.
you create
Never
something
seen it.
that incredible, you got to just let it live at the top of the hierarchy. Just leave it where it is. Don't endanger anything by coming back and saying, oh, yeah, you know that incredible ending that left everyone talking? Here's what was really going on. It's like, oh, well, thanks, man. Thanks for doing that. You could have just left it alone.
Nate, a lot of actually, you're in a room full of people I don't think have finished The Sopranos. So
I've never seen
never
it,
seen
Nate.
it.
I know.
Who hasn't seen? Wait, is this a room filled with people mostly that have seen The Sopranos, or
I
have
have
most
not
people here
seen
not
The
seen The
Sopranos.
Sopranos?
I've seen it.
I
Did you
have
finish
not-
it?
So
Yes.
it's a
Alright,
50.
alright.
It's a 50-50 split.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Jordan, you've seen it? Finished
Okay,
it?
so 3-2 split in here.
Yeah.
Oh, it is an
haven't finished
incredible
it.
show. I have not seen The Wire, and tons of people tell me that The Wire is superior
Nathan,
to
I
The
would-
Sopranos, but
Yes.
you've got to watch The Sopranos
Okay.
as soon as
I know.
possible.
I've got
It's
to.
incredible.
Same to you on The
I
Wire,
got
buddy.
a bunch.
Same
I
to
got
you
a
on The
bunch.
Wire.
The Sopranos, Succession. I got a bunch
Oh,
of them.
Succession's
Yeah,
fantastic.
Succession's good.
But speaking of other things that I saw this week, Nate Dogg, I went to the theater. I did IMAX, and I went to go see Dune. Have you seen it yet? And if you have, your thoughts.
Oh, you didn't tell me. You kept that in.
What'd you
I
think?
went
What'd you think of it,
with,
Lloyd?
with the pops. There's a little
Wow.
movie day. Did- whoop. I thought it was epic. I didn't really know what to make of it because I don't know the story. I know there's a ton of books. I went in there kind of blind. I just knew I wanted to see it in theaters because of the scope and the massiveness of the entire
Because
like,
of
what
you,
they're
Nate,
trying
because
to,
of you.
Exactly.
You convinced them to go see it in IMAX.
Yes, and I thought it was, there's obviously some slow parts still building up to something. I wish they'd have made it rated R, but I understand why they didn't. But I just thought it was, in terms of like filming, it was just an epic thing to take in. Like that's what I liked the most about it. It was cool to see something that big in the theater again.
Well, I do really enjoy the book. I think one of the coolest things about I've only read the first one about the book is how dense it is. But once you kind of get through those first 100 pages, it kind of opens up and becomes this incredible epic. What I loved about the movie is that it feels like it cuts right through all the information of those first 100 pages and just drops you right into the intensity and the scale and the epicness. But I also feel like you don't need to, I guess, Lloyd, I'm asking, I want to know, were you confused at any point? Because I feel like there's a difference between I read these books, I know this world, and someone walking in, it's like, what the fuck is the worm and
Right.
what planet are we on? Like, were you confused watching it?
A little confused, obviously, just because I didn't know what I was really stepping into. I just knew it was going to be like a big movie with a big worm that I was kind of interested in seeing. I wanted to see something cool happen. But it's a little.
You were going for Oscar Isaac in the scene where he's nude on the. I know you,
Yes,
Lloyd.
yes.
I know you.
Wait, hold on. Does Zendaya have the easiest acting career of all time? She says absolutely nothing in any movies that she's in. And in Dune, they just like quick cut to her like 55 times throughout the film with blue eyes, and that's it. That's all she had to do.
It's the best review I've seen is like Oscar Isaac does an incredible job.
He's good
Timothée
looking.
Chalamet goes from a huge level of ranges, and Zendaya does a great job in a music video. That's kind of what I've heard about her performance. But hey, look, it seems I'm happy that they got the sequel. I'm happy they pulled off the sequel. I love Dune, and if you know the story, you know Zendaya is supposed to play a huge part in the next one. So I think she'll probably have more to do in the next movie.
Say more than 5 words.
More than 5 words. We'll see what happens.
Nathan, tell me about The French Dispatch, or that is the movie that we're breaking down today on the 5-Minute Critic, correct?
Yeah, a full breakdown is going to be coming out today on the channel closer to noon. And the thing with Wes Anderson movies, I feel like you either like Wes Anderson or you are really annoyed by the movies that he makes. I really like him. I like the movies that he makes. But it feels like he is stuck in a rut with this one. I feel like he's got to shake things up. Like watching this one, it's like, I do get it. Everything in the movies needs to be symmetrical. The soundtrack needs to sound like it came out of the 1800s. You love France, and Bill Murray looks grumpy, like always. But there's no real story in this movie, and it's a bunch of short stories, and there's a point in each one where you kind of feel like, are we about ready to move on to the next one? And you get that feeling in each short story, which means there are 4 instances where you're like, are we moving along here? What's going on? I feel like it's a bit strange that this was pushed back because of the pandemic, because it kind of builds up a level of hype that you might not even think is fair to put on this movie. But I kind of hope that this one is seen as a little bit of a back step for him and people that, enjoy his career. And then we get something much better, something a little bit more developed after this. But if you do like his movies, it's not going to make any new fans. And if you enjoy his style, there's everything there that you know from him.
Nathan Velasquez, is it starting to get cool up there in New York?
It's fucking freezing up here. I'm not. There were like the first 3 days, I was like, I can handle this. I'm going to be all right.
Actually,
and then the fourth
freezing?
day, it's kind of like, geez, I can't. Like, I've got to already go and get a whole new wardrobe. The winter wardrobe I brought with me is not. It's not suitable. But hey, it's Starbucks has got like the Christmas stuff coming up. And, I'm willing to play Christmas music before Thanksgiving, so I'm fine with the cold. I'll put up with it. But yeah, it's here. Mikey. It's here in a big way.
You answered my question. I was going to ask you, what are your thoughts on Christmas being celebrated on November 5th? But I think you just answered that. I'm against it. Like, stop skipping Thanksgiving, please.
I'm getting a little in and out there. What is that with the Christmas and the November 5th?
I said, what is your take on Christmas being celebrated already on November 5th? Like, we're just skipping Thanksgiving.
Well, and yeah, I was talking this with someone this week. I feel like Thanksgiving is an incredible holiday that needs its respect. It is a great sub-holiday in the Christmas season. You got to celebrate. I love 2 months of Christmas, and we build up to an incredible sub Thanksgiving.
I can accept that. That's a good take.
That is the 5-Minute Critic. You can find him on YouTube. You can find him all over social media, and every Friday you can find him here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Nathan Velasquez with us here on Friday. Ran too long, Nathan. I wanted to get your thoughts on Odell Beckham being released by the Browns, but we're just out of time, bro. Have a great weekend.
We'll talk on Monday. I'll give you the break. Talk to you
That's
later.
right, man.
Later.
See you later. It is official. Odell Beckham Jr. has been released.
Been released.
By the Cleveland Browns.
Wow.
Rohan is here. We will talk football with Rohan and close it out next year on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU, bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU, bluewater.com. Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, closing out on this Friday, driven and powered by Ghost Chevrolet. Crew starting to rack up here inside the UDL.
I got kicked out my spot.
Carpool Queen is here.
I can't even battle. He's way bigger than me. I can fight.
Slide up on that.
Couple of All-Americans fighting over a corner of the couch.
Hey, we trying to get the corner right, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Ro is here. It's good to see Ro here on this Friday. It is Friday of LSU Bama week. Does it feel
Feels
like that?
fucking weird. Excuse my friend.
No problem.
No,
yesterday
go with
was yesterday I saw it popped across my screen. Yesterday was the 20-year anniversary to you setting the all-time passing record versus Alabama.
Tearing their ass up.
Tearing them up. Josh Reed had 1 million catches that day. People forget that he had a 60-yard touchdown that didn't count.
Wiped off, huh?
Yeah, because it was knocked out
Got
of his
punched
hand.
out.
He got
Peanut
punched out.
Punched out.
But what a
That's all right, we
game
do
that
it again.
was. 20 years ago yesterday, Roe and the LSU offense lit Alabama's ass up for over 500 yards of total offense. And still to this day, even after Burrow in 19, still is the passing game record for the LSU crew. This year is it doesn't look like that could happen. But all these players that are missing, Rob. I mean, like yesterday he says
crazy,
Mason
bro.
Smith is on crutches all week. Cordell Flott's not going to play. I mean, really and truly, how is this game going to be? I mean, like they don't have
What do
any.
you mean how it's gonna
they
be?
ain't got no players, man. 28 points
20
don't
is
seem like
28
enough.
enough? Is
I
that
know you.
enough?
Rohan knows.
I know you took LSU in your 3-game parlay, but
Bring that shit up, did you? Hey, listen, let's say this. Let's say I was prop to team. Okay?
right.
Did you hedge it?
Right.
Did you hedge
Let's
it? Is the
not let
question.
everybody think that
Turn
this
right
is-
back
listen,
around in line.
We're gonna profit somewhere.
All right, now I'm gonna play with my money.
Yeah. Mikey, you already know, Mikey.
Yeah.
We're gonna profit some way off of this. Thank God it wasn't my money. We'll be all right.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean? But listen, dude, I've had I don't know if it's a privilege or whatever to be over there this week, and it's not pretty.
Yeah, it can't be.
It's not pretty,
Can't
man.
be.
It's
I mean, how many are they gonna dress? Sub 55?
can we dress?
I mean, can you dress?
You can go.
dress.
I mean,
Can you
dude,
dress?
Shit.
it's
Actually, we need like an offensive line. Can you get like Ben Wilkerson or someone? to
All
get
of them.
dressed?
all of them.
All of them.
Wentworth, all of them. It's ugly, man. It's ugly. And then you throw in that you got coaches that don't know what the hell's going on with their future, concentrating more on what's going on with them and their situation at the end of the football season than the actual what's up next. It's all that.
Like this is in football terms. This is a scary proposition. Like you're loading up a plane with an unmanned team, and you're going to play maybe the best in the business. I mean, this is some scary shit. Like from a football standpoint, you know what I mean? Like you could potentially you could set the program back a couple of years.
But
tomorrow.
we've already set the program back. We've set the program back. Anytime you go from 2 years ago at the top of the podium and now to where you are now, basically in survival mode, you've set the program back. And what set the program back is the behavior of our head coach. Not to keep beating a dead horse, but that's what caused the momentum of the program getting set back, because recruits and your own players that you have to recruit, and now going into homes and talking up a school when you have no credibility behind you. So that's going to be hard, man. It's going to be hard. Standing up in front of a whole football team trying to deliver a message that 75% of the guys know is bullshit.
Yeah.
That's hard, man. So,
What are the other 25 thinking?
guys have to. I mean, you got some that
just want the
genuinely
opportunity.
right? But that's the thing. So the guys that are going out to play this football game, and Mike know this is the same as if it was baseball, and you had all your starters out and people, these injuries coming up and this and that. I mean, these guys have to take it. Is now it's motivation within yourself.
Right.
It's motivation on what you're going to do against. You said it, the best in the damn business.
It's your film.
And guys like 18, guys like 5, guys like 8.
Simone Clark, Jay Ward,
these
DJ
guys.
Ojulari.
You would think the right tackle, the calculus, or his name,
Deculus.
and those guys. You know what I mean?
Sounds like a math class.
Those guys, right? Calculus. Those guys. They playing for something, you know what I mean? So even the young guys, what are you playing for? Well, and it's pride, man. Like you going out here against Bama. I hear Coach O trying to talk it up all week. Talking about, is Bama enough said? Is Bama enough said? No,
man.
No, dude. Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about when I say you just don't get it.
Disconnected.
Oh, very disconnected. No, it's too much that's going on for anybody to even think that these guys will go out here and even put up a damn fight. If they go out here and put up a damn fight, it shows the pride and what these guys have in their chest. It don't have nothing to do with what Coach Ed Orgeron is getting up there and saying in front of them right now.
What do you think the message is from Saban to guys like Kendrick Law, Quincy Wiggins, Shaz Preston, all who will be on the sideline tomorrow? Does he have to say anything?
No.
Yeah.
This is the thing. It's not even debatable.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, just think about if you were in those guys' position and you see the trajectory and the consistent trajectory of Alabama over the last however many years, going on decades. And then you look at not just this year with LSU, but listen, these guys have more information. They're paying attention more,
accessible.
and they're more dialed in to getting to the league. Let's be real. They're more dialed into that and who's doing that and the process and factories that's putting that out. Not to say LSU isn't, but where we are right now to win a national championship, we're far from that right now. So those guys, of course, they're on the sideline looking at Alabama mop up LSU or whatever it is. It's nothing for them to say. I want to go to a winner.
Yeah.
I have a question. Can I ask, when you get recruited as a football, because baseball and football recruiting are a little bit different. Yeah. What resonates more for you? A guy getting recruited because of like the coach there, or getting recruited because I'm pitching you playing time?
I'm pitching you playing time.
Okay. Because we talk about the recruiting, like it's going to suffer, but I was like, I don't know how much it's going to suffer because these guys are going to come in and play right away.
Well, the suffering for me, when I say the suffering for me is initially when you have to go up against an Alabama versus an LSU and you're recruiting those top-tier athletes. Right. In my opinion, you won't get them because they're the top-tier athletes. Like, in my opinion, you got to re-recruit Mason Smith. You got to re-recruit him from somebody else coming in, from anybody coming in and snatching him and be like, you don't know who your coach is going to be. I'm talking about like the situation right now, all those guys. So the playing time will be attractive to those guys that are saying, you know what, I'm just going to come in. I'm super, super talented. I'm going to come in. They're deficient at the defensive line position. I'm going to go in and be a stud for 2 years and then I'm gone. Yeah. Or I could go to Alabama, be a stud for 2 years, and also win and play in the national championship.
Or not play.
Or I'm gone. You know what I mean?
Or not play, though.
Or not play.
Yeah, because the guys are behind,
And then, or I could look at it and say, because some of these guys are like this too, where are they developing them? I could be like a Jalen Hurts, a Tua Tagovailoa, and the guy that left now. Like, can I go there and still be a first-round draft pick? Even if I go and I know it's going to be this 5-star, that 5-star, that 5-star, that 5-star. You know what I mean? So I guess it's according, Mike, to what's inside that athlete's chest. Right. Do you want to go to a lesser and be the dominant guy and breeze through it 2 years potentially? Or go where I know I'm definitely going to go to the league. I'm definitely going to get developed. My stay in the NFL is going to be longer because I am underneath a coach that knows how to develop and has a proven track record and so on and so forth.
I get you. I get that.
This thing has been open for 3 weeks. All 3 weeks, Jimbo Fisher's name seems to be at the top of the list. 20 years ago when y'all 20 years ago when y'all set that record, he was calling the plays to what you were executing. I'm not asking you for inside information, but again, here we are another week talking about his name being involved.
Yeah, I think it's very much so involved because it's very much so credible.
So it's real.
It's real. Nothing, and let me be clear, it's nothing that I've heard. It's nothing that I've spoken to anyone, but, well, it is I've spoken to someone.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you.
But it is very much a thing.
It's very real.
It's a thing. Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. And
okay.
and it's something that I think if it's at all any way for it to plant some seeds and grow, with who's involved, it's going to plant some seeds and grow.
So that's your pick. He's your pick?
He would be my pick.
Okay.
If you get a guy like him, can you salvage 2022's recruiting class? Can you keep it together?
I don't know, because, this is the thing, man. We all recruit the same people.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's all still going to be based on whatever relationship he has with these players that he's now recruiting at A&M that are crossing over to LSU or whatever it may be. But all recruiting is relationships. That's all it is. And it doesn't matter if you're at this school, that school, or another school. If you're a 4 or 5 star, everybody goes after the same pool of talent. That's why you hear about them losing this D lineman to Alabama or the LSU or this and that. So it's all about relationships. So even when these guys choose to go to another university, it's not like these recruiters just stop talking to them.
Yeah.
They don't stop talking to them. They especially now with the inception of the transfer portal.
Yeah. Miles Brennan said that earlier this week.
Yeah.
Brian Fletcher Painting. Remember Fletcher Painting when Rohan is here. It is compliments of Fletcher Painting. All of the historic places you've seen around Baton Rouge. Odds are Fletcher Painting, that is his work. He works directly with the architects on custom designs and projects in and around the capital city. Check out Fletcher Painting on Facebook, on social media. And every time you see Ro here on the set of the UDL, it is compliments of Fletcher Painting. Odell Beckham Jr. was just released by the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, wow.
What would you say would be next for him?
Wow.
Does Odell still have Odell in him? Does he?
Cincinnati. Cincinnati or New Orleans?
Yeah.
Does Cincinnati need Odell, though?
I don't think so,
Yeah.
but I think Joe would want him.
Yeah, just
Well,
one more
yeah,
piece.
yeah, for
I
sure.
think Joe. Sometimes, dude, when you go somewhere where you're just like familiar and it'd be an LSU guy and an LSU guy. Like when I was in New England, it was the most calmest thing, dude, to walk in that
Kevin?
fucking locker
Everybody around
room
you knew.
and see Kev and Jarvis and Blue and Big Marquise Hill, and knowing that Bill had a relationship with Coach Saban, and like it was just calming to see guys you could go to their house and chill with and don't have to make friends
doubt.
and all
Yeah.
that bullshit. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was cool as
No,
hell.
that-
So
that's a huge
it
thing.
rejuvenates. You go to practice happy. You know what I mean? So I'm sure, like wherever I still think he got game in him.
Yeah,
dog.
but the
For
thing
sure.
about it, him and Jarvis are best friends.
yeah.
And he's with them right now.
Yeah,
and-
you got a
you know
point
what I
there.
mean?
You do have a great
So, like,
point
I don't
there.
know. It may be like maybe the Baker thing with him. Maybe that's a
Yeah,
thing.
Do you see that?
maybe.
Do you
It
see
could be.
that?
No,
Do
it
you
could
see
be.
that with Baker?
I don't
Like,
I
as a
don't
quarterback,
know
you don't-
Baker, but I do know Odell a little. And listen, and I see their personalities, and they definitely I can see how they can clash now. Both of them having the enigmatic personalities. Baker seems to be somewhat of not of a friendlier quarterback guy. You know what I mean? Like he looks like he has a little hot head in
fuck you
there.
to him.
To him.
Yeah.
So I could see how that wouldn't be perceived nicely by someone like Odell. You know what I mean?
Saints would be a great fit.
I think Saints would be good right
You
now.
don't have anybody like him.
I mean,
Yeah.
and Mike
Nobody
Thomas
can take the top off.
Mike
of
Thomas
Nobody.
is out for the season.
I think
Yeah.
he'll be a good fit. I mean, honestly, man, I think he'll be a good fit anywhere if you get in the Odell that you know. I still think the dude got a lot of football in him, man. I still think he has a lot of football in him. It's just whether it's confidence or whether it's him and Baker. I definitely know it's something between him and Baker. Not figuring, but I think the Saints would be beautiful.
Yeah, that would
be
be.
back home. I think it'd be nice.
Those injuries don't concern you at all because ever since he looks like he's tried to change his body a little bit to where he tried to thicken up his bottom half, where he looks like because we just had a broken ankle and then he tore an ACL and it looked. I was listening to somebody talk yesterday that used to play in the NFL and he said the reason he's kind of dropping balls now because it feels like he doesn't have any juice left in his legs. And that's because he feels like he can't catch it and go. And so it's kind of changed the way he wants to play the position because what's Odell always been able to do.
Well,
as
if
soon as
you
you
could-
catch that thing, he's gone.
If you could explode off the line of scrimmage from a dead start and get into your route and get in and out of cuts, I
You got juice.
don't know what the problem would be with him catching the football and then accelerating after the catch. And with him, whether or not he's lost a step or hasn't lost a step, okay, he can no longer run a 4.3. Now he runs a 4.4. So, a lot of football and sports, man. Yes, it's injuries, but a lot of it is confidence in what you're doing and confidence in who you're doing it with. So I wouldn't say that the deceleration or acceleration is the biggest factor. I think is where he is.
F3 Elite, a lot of exciting things happening right now as the high school football season kind of calms down. That's when the 7-on-7 season really kind of picks up. I know we're gearing for a lot of exciting stuff over at F3 coming up here. It should be cranking up here in the next couple of weeks, huh?
Yeah, man, we're getting ready to crank up with the youth, our 10s, 14s, and our 12 youth tryouts coming up at Lamar. I think it's on the 11th of December. I think is our first youth, and then our first tournament will actually be the second week in January at Lamar. We got 5 tournaments, at Lamar this year. Bunch of out-of-town teams coming from Dallas, from Texas, Mississippi, the surrounding South, Louisville. And just trying to get it kicked off in a bigger way going into year 3. You know this, Jordy, because you're one of our premier board members. So, man, we have a lot of things coming up. The youth are getting excited. We had, a lot of guys the other night. I'm just thinking about, the Woodlawn Catholic game. And last night I had a chance to go watch Zachary and in the Austin Osbury.
Yeah, I saw you had the Under Armour.
Yeah,
invite.
Man, it was exciting for him to get his All-American selection. And a guy that's been in our organization all 3 years. Everyone's tried to solicit him to come over to play for him. Teams offered to fly him in from out of town just to play for weekends, and he stayed 10 toes down with us. So Austin's one of our bright guys that's been with us from day one, and we just super proud of him. And then this is a hard worker, man. If you see him from day one, just training and working and getting better and working on his body, working on his speed, dropped his speed from like a 4.5 to a low 4.4. Like just everything that he's gotten, he's worked for. Yeah. And it's even better that way, when you get it out the mud like he has, so to speak. So it's exciting to see him get that recognition.
I have seen University High play twice this season, once versus Madison Prep a couple of weeks back at Olympia, and then earlier this season, Roe and I went and watched them play Woodlawn at U High, and Austin Osbury and that defense jump off. Everybody talks about Jaden Osbury, which you can see it. He is going to be he's a 5-star. He's going to be a guy that's going to be a headliner. But, Austin kind of keeps them steady.
He's the glue.
He is the glue, man.
He's the glue. He's the one guy that you could put him on anybody, and it's a done deal.
It is.
I don't care who you is.
They did that against Madison Prep.
They
put him on Dave.
It's a done deal.
They put him on Dave.
Shut down.
Yep. Him and
2
Dave were going
F3
back
guys.
at it. A couple of dogs. You can see it.
Two
they
of
were
our guys back
caged up. This is a tweet that Shea Dixon just put out 13 minutes ago, and this is telling. We'll sign off of here this week with LSU Bama. Roe and I will be doing some work tomorrow for LSU Bama. We'll be here at the UDL watching college football. We'll be around cooking and hanging. So make sure that you set your alerts. Everybody invited back over here to the UDL to watch tomorrow, and we'll have some post-game reaction for you.
All the followers?
Chat?
The room.
I'm just joking.
The room.
I'm just joking.
But 13 minutes ago, check out this tweet. Shea Dixon.
Depends on what you put in that super chat.
LSU, yes, and shout out to Cody Boudreaux.
Dune it up.
My guy. But Shea Dixon tweeted this 13 minutes ago, and this is telling. LSU has signed 8 5-stars since 2019. There's a good chance that 0 will play against Alabama tomorrow. Mason Smith is very questionable, dealing with something that has him on crutches this week. Derek Stingley is out. Eli Ricks is out. Keyshawn Butte is out. Sage Ryan is out. John Emery is ineligible. Arik Gilbert has transferred, and Marcel Brooks is at TCU. That is the 8 5-star players that LSU has signed since 2019, and none of them, 0, possibly, with Mason Smith only being the outlier if he can get healthy from in between now and tomorrow.
Can get
him on the field. So
That's looking good, bro.
That's how you get here.
Ruh-roh.
That's how you go. That's how you go 20. That's how you are a 28.5 point underdog to Alabama. All right, for everybody watching, we appreciate it. Make sure and hit the like and share. Thank you for being there. To Go Chevrolet, for Roe, for Matuk, for Lloyd, for Jordan, for Katie, for everybody here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We will see you tomorrow. Make sure and have your alerts set and notified for us cranking up some content tomorrow. Have a good Friday. We'll be back with you tomorrow afternoon.
That's crazy.